Welcome back, everybody. Episode 18 of Generations Behind. I am one of your hosts, Craig of Craig's Game Room. To the side of me, the recently showered Mr. Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I haven't showered since the last episode. I figured I'd get it in right before the episode. I'm doing great.
Below us, the luscious slut, Mr. Tyler Haight. Tyler, how are you today?
Doing pretty good. It's beautiful Saturday afternoon for me, morning for you. Doing pretty good. Ready to talk about this. And also, I gotta say, the luscious slut is catching on because now our buddy X Button Gaming has me in his phone as the luscious slut.
Perfect. There we
That
go.
is my
See,
name.
I think that should just be because you couldn't fit Game Collecting Reaper on Twitter. You have it on YouTube, but then you're Tyler Hayden on Twitter. I think you should just switch everything to the luscious slut. Have some uniformity. Our good
Luscious
friend
Slut Gaming would get some
yes,
clicks.
it would for sure. And then they see you and they're like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah.
Subscribed.
Well, a little bit of cleavage, we'll be good.
There you go. But yes, so it is time for us to talk about Persona 3, one of my favorite games of all time. I had to make sure these boys played it at some point. We'd want to make an episode out of it. They played Reload, which is A-okay because it still has the same, heart and soul as the original game. I do have the experience of playing through FES and a majority of Persona 3 Portable, so I could talk about some of the differences between the old and new version. But can't wait to talk about it with you boys. How was your Thanksgiving? We have not talked since then. Did you guys have a lovely Thanksgiving? It feels like 1,000 years ago already because time isn't real. But Thanksgiving happened between the last two episodes.
Yeah. I mean, pretty standard stuff for me. Nothing to shout out. I went to a football game the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and my team lost in embarrassing fashion. So it was pretty bad, but it was still fun.
It's like that sometimes. Tyler,
Yeah.
you have a good Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was pretty good, dying of a food coma the night of. And, Black Friday day after, did some game hunting.
Hell yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, I did a little bit of shopping on Black Friday. Nothing crazy, mostly just picking up stuff and gifts for other people. I did have one funny experience on Black Friday, which was I was at a four-way stop in like a little kind of shopping area. And, everyone's coming to a stop. I get to stop. It's my turn to go. So I start going. And one person just flies through the stop sign. So I honk at him like, "Hey, buddy, I'm coming." He flips me off. And I was like, well, that was kind of rude. It was my turn to go. Whatever. So then I go into Ulta to go pick up my wife's in-store pickup order. And who's in front of me in line at Ulta was the guy that cut me off and flipped me off. So I just kind of looked at him like, motherfucker. So that was
just walk in front of him.
I was just like, was it really worth being an asshole when we ended up in the exact same place, bitch? Like, was it really worth it? I was like, I hope you thought about that later, because I did. And you know what? Maybe I let things get to me too much, but I just thought that was kind of funny, because that's the first time I've ever had like a fuck you interaction on the road, and then I see that person outside of their car, because usually you just never see him again.
Yeah,
That's funny.
But it's like that sometimes. But other than that, kind of same old, same old. Regular Thanksgiving, enjoyed lots of good food, got one good game deal. I didn't really do any video game shopping, but I do have some pickups, which is nice, because usually I have the least amount of pickups of all of us. Yes, Zachary?
I just wanted to say my favorite food of the Thanksgiving
Of course.
weekend. We had this, someone made this dip. I'm a big pumpkin pie fan, and it was pumpkin, cream cheese, and powdered sugar, and you just dip Nilla wafers in it, and it was delicious. It was
sounds good.
one of the greatest things I've ever tried in my life. It
I
was
wish
basically like a soft pumpkin pie with Nilla wafers, and you just eat it.
I wish I liked pumpkin, because it sounds delicious, but pumpkin is repulsive to me. I'm one of those
All
people.
right.
We had a good run. So, all right, you know what? My ranch and mayonnaise is your pumpkin, all right? We'll look at it that way. See,
Fair enough.
eat fair.
Ranch.
Yeah,
Despise it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Ranch
Wait,
is just
hold on,
seasoned,
real
ranch is just
quick.
seasoned
Now that
mayonnaise.
we're on
Exactly
this
why it's
food
good.
Topic, now that we're on this food topic, Zach, how are you with mint stuff, like mint chocolate chip ice cream, all that type of jazz?
I love mint. I typically like to brush my teeth with mint and then chug a glass of OJ. It really gets the flavors mixed good. But no, in all seriousness, I do like mint. But I don't seek it out for ice cream. I like to get just vanilla ice cream, but I don't mind it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we're all fine with mint then.
Hell yeah. I had my
I'm like
peppermint
people
mocha
like
before the show.
Patrick. People like Patrick, it's toothpaste. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No.
Just saying.
No, toothpaste
no.
is mint. He's got it backwards.
Pretty much. Now, I had my peppermint mocha before the show. I was so tired, I needed to get some coffee because we're recording at 10 a.m. my time, which is, that's not really early, but, I wake up at
12
5.
hours earlier than normal.
Exactly. I wake up at 5:30 every day for work, and I've been doing that for 11 years now. I'm still not used to it, and on my days off, I usually sleep until, noon. I was born for, the midday swing shift, and I've been cursed to work mornings my entire life. So I needed some coffee, and I feel a lot better about it. And we had to record early because I'm going to have to go get my wife's tires changed for her car because they are getting worn down and we have an appointment. The guy called me yesterday. It was really weird because I get a call from a number I don't know, and he's like, "Hey, this is Discount Tire," and I was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" They're like, "I'm calling for Mr. Bronzeman. Sorry if I'm butchering your last name." I'm like, "No, you're good. That's me." And he was like, so we just want to let you know your tires came in for your car. If you want to come in, sometime whenever." I'm like, "Well, I have an appointment for 2 p.m. tomorrow, so that's when I was going to be there." He's like, "Yeah, if you want to come in, tomorrow, next week, it doesn't really matter. Your tires are here." And I was like, I'll be there at 2 tomorrow for my appointment. He's like, "Sure, that works." And then he hung up.
I'll be there at the agreed upon time, yes. Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, you can come next week if you want, though. Just show up.
I was like, this is why wouldn't you just call me like, "Hey, your tires are here. Are you still coming in at 2 tomorrow?" That was the strangest customer service call I ever got. Like, "Yeah, you can come in tomorrow, next week. Doesn't matter. They're here."
Yeah, we got the one car lift, just reserved for you for whenever you come in. It'll be closed until then.
Dude, it was so weird. I was just like,
in.
I was like, what kind of notification is this? I just thought that was the strangest thing. It's like if you had an appointment at the doctor and you're like, "Yeah, if you want to show up is fine, but fucking whatever, I guess." Very, very bizarre. So shout out to Discount Tire, I guess. They fill up your air for free, so they can do whatever they want.
You go to the dentist and they're like, setting up the next appointment. They're like, "How does April 14th at 8 a.m. sound?" I'm like, dude, I have no fucking clue. Like, sure. Like, I don't know. Like, 6 months from now.
Yeah,
like,
we'll see. We'll see April 14th what's going on.
I'll give you a heads up 2 weeks out if that day works for me. I don't know. Like I can't plan out 6 months in advance.
I know, that's the wildest thing with these doctor's appointments. And then it's like, and then you go to the doctor and it's like, you want to do a regular checkup, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be like 6 to 8 months." And you're like, "Okay." And then you go in to get blood work, and they're like, "All right, we'll have you back in 2 weeks." You're like,
Yeah.
I don't understand the way these people work. And then, you could try
this weekend, you can come by. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You could come next week too, I guess. It's fine. So
I miss you.
I miss you, Mr. Bronzeman.
I still got your tires.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite when I get Bronzeman, and I'm like, my name doesn't even have an M in it. Like, where is this coming from? I don't know. People are exceptional. I'll say that much. We have a couple of audience write-ins. Our good boy Patrick wrote in and said, "This is Patrick. Dearest Zach, this is for you. While I stand with you on the Final Fantasy VII Remake series, I must challenge your alphabetation of your games. Chronology trumps alphabet for game series, exception Zelda outside the Breath of the Wild series. It makes no sense to keep games out of order, and it makes it confusing. That's all I got. Keep up the good work." John also wrote in and said, "Hey, John here. Sorry again, I have nothing to write about this episode topic, but just have a question for Zach. Can you please do it the right way of categorizing your games?" He also spelled your name wrong, which I feel like is an intentional dig, because people should know how to spell your name by now.
Yeah, that's
He
pretty
did it
messed
with a CK instead of a CH.
Here's what I'll say. I'll go back to Patrick's comment where he says, "Keep games out of order and it makes it confusing." I have a very strict rule set to where I don't have to worry about thinking this and that. Where's my game? I just know exactly the rule set. I know exactly where the game's at.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about these weird rules. You know what? If y'all keep talking to me, I'm going to start putting the Legend of Zelda with the T's. I'm going to put all the games with the T's and really just throw everything out of whack.
Then you're going to change your rule set and you're going to get confused.
That should be I'm going to be strict. The first character, I should do that.
I forget.
I might go change it after this.
So your games on top of the shelf are kind of out of order. You should have Ring Fit on the shelf.
That is true.
That Ring Fit should be down there. That Fire Emblem should be down there. That's out of order, dude. You got to make those shelves big enough. They're
What if I
adjustable.
stack
I
them
know
in
they are.
size order? What if I start doing size order? Like bigger boxes as it gets like
Um,
loose DS games and like loose Game Boy games.
For dude, I got the perfect idea for April Fools. You got to make a video where like you just take all the systems and just do it all the way you do it, like alphabetically. Like I don't care if it's Switch, DS, then a Switch game, and then
just
this and
every
this.
Yeah.
every
That'd be
game.
the perfect
Well,
April Fool's video.
that post now I Rocketeller suit had in the
I
Discord
was
where
gonna bring that
Oh
up.
yeah,
he put on the Reddit by Metacritic
Stack's alt
score.
account.
That was so good.
That was real. That was. I think that was his best work yet. When he likes to go fuck with our game collecting.
It
That
looks
one
so
really got
funny,
me.
too.
That really got me. Because of course there's a couple of people that are in the comments and they took it seriously. Because of course they did. But I was like, man, that was a good one.
It was really good.
Speaking of sir, now I rock a teller, sir. Now I rock a teller suit. He said, no D's nuts joke this time. Just want to say, keep up the good work, lads. So thank you, sir. You keep up the good work, too.
Thank you.
You crack us all up in the Discord and on Reddit, so you're a fun member of the community, and we appreciate you.
And I'm on you with the whole train with make Indiana Jones complete again. So
Yes. Did you hear
Yeah,
about
it's
that?
like not complete on the disc. It's just like a
yeah,
It's pretty much just like a download voucher on a disc, from what I've been told.
so
So
dumb, man.
it's like an activation for it. It's like, what's the point then? What's the point?
Does that really
Yeah.
save them that much money? Like, is it really that much difficulty to like just put the game on it? You're printing a disc. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to use the currency of time of actually putting the game on the disc, but I can't imagine. I don't know. It's goofy and dumb. So
yeah.
way to go, fucking Machine Games, you bastards! How dare you? It's probably not their fault. I'm sure. You know what? Fuck you, Phil Spencer. It's probably not your fault either. I'm just angry today, guys. This
Fuck you,
card,
Bill Gates,
this Pokemon card right here, beautiful card, right?
beauty.
Beautiful. So, me and my wife pulled this out of like a $10 tin, which is really cool. We love this card. At the time, it was like a $75 card, which, kind of exciting whenever you pull a valuable card into something cool. It has jumped up to like $300 in like the last week and a
Holy
half.
Shit.
So I'm trying to decide if I should hold and see if it keeps going up, or if I should go to my local card shop and sell it towards other things that I want. Because it's a really cool card, but
Get it graded. Get it graded. Get it
I
graded.
was gonna say that.
nah, I'm not going to do that because it's going to take too
DSA
long.
10 shiny Mew bubble.
I don't know. Well, the centering is pretty good. It and there's like nothing. There's like no creases, nothing. It could potentially be a 10. But the thing is, I've been trying to do the 151 set of Scarlet and Violet for ever since it came out, and it's like I could knock out a majority of the cards that I need left by selling that. So part of me is like, should I just sell it to get stuff that I want? Should I hold, or should I just keep it because it's really fucking cute? Look, it has all these derpy drawings of like Poliwhirl and Rattata and stuff. It's a great card.
Yeah,
It's a really nice card. And
it's crazy with
the camera doesn't do it justice. It is like so shimmery. It is like the most hollow foil card ever. But I'm not sure what I want to do with it now. So I figured I'd weigh in with the jury, see what they think.
My brother, my nephew pulled one of those like expensive shiny Charizard sets from like his first Pokemon card set,
Yeah.
and my brother found out what it was worth, and he just of his own decision sold it.
Oh, it's fucked up.
And my nephew liked the card, but he's like, "Oh, I'll buy you some more cards."
Aw.
But I was like,
really
"Damn."
sad.
But it was like a couple $100 he got out of it, but my nephew really liked it, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get you some more cards, son." And then he just sold it.
And you know what? In 15 years, he's gonna start a fucking Pokemon TCG podcast and tell the story about how his fucking asshole dad sold his favorite card behind his back.
Yeah, probably $3,000 by then.
I know PSA 10s are gonna be going for 50, 60 grand.
Yeah,
And he had it. He pulled it himself.
yeah.
It's pretty crazy how Pokemon card collecting is nowadays. Like, you have all these cards that are like, some look really cool, like some random full art or something, and it's like, oh, that's worth $3.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's something like that. But then you got a card like that. I was going through some of my old ones too, like just the singles I have, like from Dragons Exalted, which is, I don't remember when that came out, but I got a booster box and I got like the secret rare shiny Rayquaza, which is, it's literally just a normal card, yellow border and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The Rayquaza is shiny, and then it just has a little dragon symbol on the bottom. It's going for like $700 now.
Oh, my
I
God.
was like, I still
So,
want this? It's just sitting in a
so
bin.
here you go. Really cool Chandelure, one of my favorite Pokemon. Here's a really cool card. It's worth $1. It's like Pokemon is
See?
so inconsistent and weird sometimes. This is one of my favorite cards ever. It's like a Miss Magnius like tarot card. It's super cool. It's like I think it was like $10 I bought it last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's like Pokemon, and then this card is cute, but it's like, is it $300 cute? I don't think so. So it's very, and then there's this new Pikachu people been going crazy about, and Surging Sparks. It's like a $500 card.
One or whatever?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so expensive, and I don't know. It really doesn't seem, it's very inconsistent. It really just depends on the popularity of the Pokemon, I think. And
that's what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
It sucks with like me liking Gengar because every card's like 100.
Yeah,
plus.
every cool Gengar is pretty expensive. Or like, I'm kind of surprised because I didn't think Milotic was that expensive, and there's a really cool new Milotic card, and it's going I think for like 150, $200, something crazy like that. It might not be 200, but it's definitely like on the rise from being like 60 when the set came out. Like like I think it was only a month ago. So a lot of those cards, there's still time to fluctuate, but. I think this is about a year old now, so it's kind of funny because it was sitting at like 75 to 80 for like a year, and then all of a sudden it's like to the moon. So who knows what's gonna happen? I'll have to update you guys in the next episode if I decide to sell it, but undecided.
I want that alt art Latios and Latias though.
Oh, they are really pretty.
Looks so sick.
And it's funny because those are two cards that match, right? The same background. The art's literally connected if you put the cards together. One of them is worth like $20, the other is worth like $250. It's like it's so strange.
Latias is the more expensive one.
I think so. Yeah, whichever one is the red one, I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah,
Latias.
So shout out to Pokemon cards. It's a stupid hobby, and it's like I bought a couple more games this last week because I bought like 6 packs Pokemon cards and I didn't get shit, and now I'm like fuck Pokemon cards. I'm buying video games again. So. Because there's nothing more disheartening than when you spend your hard-earned cash and don't get shit. And I'm like, this is why I buy singles. But it's so much more fun when you pull the card yourself. So.
But isn't gambling fun, Craig? Isn't gambling so fun? We should all be gambling.
Yeah, 100%. I am a huge advocate. I live in Las Vegas, so.
Mind you, guys, I had a crazy experience. Last episode, I did like a TCG Pocket opening pack.
Yeah.
After that, the day after, I opened like packs just trying to get a Spearow. Mind you, I pulled 3. If you're playing TCG Pocket, there's like these alt arts where it has like a whole video thing to it or whatever image. 3 of the Charizards almost back to back to back, not getting a Spearow, and I sent it to Craig, and I was like, "What's going on?" I just want a Spearow, man.
And you know what? That's kind of my experience too. Is like in that game, I've pulled a lot of really hard to get cards, and it's like I've pulled multiples of the same full arts, and it's like I'm still missing a couple of random common cards. It's super strange.
Yeah, there's some that are like only available in whatever pack, but
yeah, but even then, it's like why haven't I gotten the fucking Doug Trio yet? It's like that's not that rare. It's like a regular rarity card, and it's like I haven't gotten a single Doug Trio.
Like right now, I'm opening the Charizard pack, so I'm trying to get the Moltres Hollow. But I got like 4 Moltres EXs before I got the Hollow, and I still don't have the Hollow.
I will say, Pokemon TCG Pocket it's a good serotonin provider for sure, because you don't have to spend money. You just get to open up 2 packs a day, and then you get a little bit of serotonin, and you don't have to spend money. Because I refuse to spend money on digital cards. I will spend as much money on physical cards, but I'm not spending a single dime on that. Like, there's some promos right now that you can only get if you have the premium pass, and I'm like, not doing it. I'm not giving the Pokemon Company $10 for a fucking PNG of Mewtwo that looks kind of cool. I refuse. Tyler fell victim like the fucking chump he is. I see him right now, but...
Huh? What? I'm just drinking my drink.
To be fair, though, you actually do get some decent benefits from that pass. You get like promo cards, and then you get like an extra pack a day and stuff. And $10 a month isn't that bad, but
it's like 30 packs.
Speaking of $10 a month, did you guys ever play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp?
No. No, but
so
I know what you're going to.
They shut it down or whatever, and now they've released a paid version for $10, and I'm thinking about getting that because I really enjoyed that back in the day. Because apparently your save data transfers over, and I haven't played it since like probably 2018, so I'd be interested to see all the random stuff that I might have that I unlocked back in the day.
It's $10 now, but if you buy it it's like the end of January, it goes to $20.
It's kind
of $10 is a temporary pricing.
Interesting. So. I mean, honestly, it's pretty much a full-fledged game. 20 is a little steep for any mobile game, I think, but
yeah.
But $10, I think I'm gonna do it. So
I think they're doing some brain manipulation. Like, buy it now, buy it now, buy it now.
Oh yeah, that's the Nintendo way.
Yeah,
That is the
FOMO.
Nintendo way. Well, it has been 21 minutes. We should probably talk about video games now. All right, fellas.
Probably.
Probably.
So yeah, sorry.
We were mobile games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Well,
favorite
that's
mobile
mobile
games. All right.
We should do a mobile games episode. Retro
you got-
mobile games.
No, only where we
That's
talk
not
about like
mobile
ports of like retro games on mobile, because I've played a few of those.
Okay.
Most of them are terrible,
Sure.
but I've played through all of Mega Man X via iOS. So,
Bless your soul.
Bonkers.
all right. Let's see. We've all been playing quite a lot. It looks like. My list is very long, so I think I will go last. Tyler, why don't you go first?
Me? Okay. So, of course, Persona 3 Reload, played that, beat that, talk more about that a little bit later.
Mhm.
So then we had the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection release. So I played a bit of that from last episode. Played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with Jonathan and Jason. Got my ass kicked because I'm not the greatest and they're a lot better than me, but it was still fun. Still fun. It's a great time.
Oh yeah.
Played through that, did a whole story mode run because, I'm going to try to just go through each of the game, maybe do like 2 runs a week or something. I'm going to go for that platinum. I'm going to attempt it. We'll see what
So,
happens.
okay, so cheat code for the platinum I found out. What you can do is you can quick save before the final boss of each arcade game, and then lose, and
Which
then
characters?
choose different characters. That way you don't have to do full runs
Whoa.
for every character. So you can speed up the process like crazy if you do that.
Yo, my man just All right, we're getting the platinum by next episode.
You'll probably get really good at the last bosses too. You'll be like just cranking them out by the end.
They're tough. And yeah, I gotta ask, what's your team? What's your team for the game? Have you settled on some mains yet?
Not really. I know I like using Felicia, but the other two I'm still kind of playing around trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the Darkstalkers characters is they play the same in like every single game that they're in. So
Yeah.
everything carries over nice. Yeah, my go-to team now is I like to use Felicia, I like to use Spider-Man, and I like to use Morgan because I need my my Darkstalkers representation. So that's been my go-to team when I've been playing.
Very nice, very nice. Other than that collection, I've been playing, Call of Duty. New Zombies map came out. I did the Easter egg run with that with a couple of friends. That was pretty fun. Boss fight, difficult as hell. And then had my buddy, if I can grab these real quick. Jonathan came over. Well, a couple friends came over. We watched the wrestling pay-per-view, and then Jonathan stayed later, and he was like, well, there was one game he mainly wanted to play, which is right there. Okay. So we were like, let's just play some PS1 stuff, random stuff off the shelf, and we'll see what it's like. So we played Digimon Rumble Arena. That was pretty fun. It's like a little, I guess you could say like Smash Bros. Kind of clone. Not fully, but that was all right. I thought I had Rumble Arena too because I wanted to compare them, but I don't.
That's
No.
the PS2 and GameCube one, right?
Yeah.
The GameCube one's pretty
I thought
expensive.
I thought I had it on PS2. I was like, I definitely have it on PS2. Which, mind you, my PS2 just recently died.
All right.
Discovered that when I went to play these, and so I dug out the PS3. Not really dug out, it's sitting there, but Nicktoons Racing. Played a little bit of Nicktoons Racing. Found out it does not hold up well. Don't recommend it.
Surprise.
Tried to play Hooters Road Trip. It don't work.
Oops.
Hooters Road Trip.
Yeah.
Like
I had to see what it
the
was
wing
like,
restaurant?
and, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
Look, just look at them, dude.
That's funny.
Look at them.
Dude,
Yeah, so
they were
I'll
gooning
get
in the
pictures of-
90s. That is not a recent thing.
John was saying that there's like something with where some PS1 games don't work on the PS3, so maybe that's why it don't work. I
Oh,
don't know.
really? Interesting. I hope someone's
Yeah,
made a
'cause, like-
comprehensive list and Hooters is on there.
I gotta look it up. Gotta find out.
There's one other guy
Uh,
that's tried it ever.
Played some RC Revenge. I remember playing this as a kid. It was pretty good. I'd say this one still holds up. This was a pretty fun racing game. And then for the shits and giggles of it, we played Zaboomafoo because why not? And not good. Just saying. And lastly, well, this is kind of a pickup, but I'll just say it anyway. The Land Before Time Great Valley Racing Adventure.
Great Value Racing Adventure.
Great Valley. It should be
Oh,
on the
it's a
Great
Great
Value.
Value,
Yeah,
like
it
a
should
Walmart
be.
exclusive.
That's what it's like. Um, 4 characters. You're all running if you know Land Before Time. Littlefoot, Ducky. No, the other two. I don't even remember. But it's not good. Don't recommend it. I just paid way too much for it, even though it was a Black Friday sale. And lastly, started Sonic Generations last night. I wanted to start with Shadow Generations, but I was like, yeah, I'll just go through the Sonic stuff and leave, a little best for last. So, yeah, been playing through that. Got through like the first part.
Nice.
Got to the
Nice.
boss. Didn't do the boss yet because it was like 5 a.m. and I wanted to go to bed.
Fair.
Understandable.
All right, Zach, what have you been playing? I'm interested because you have Redacted and Redacted on your game list.
Yeah, so I'll get to those. First one I played right after we recorded the last episode. I did run through the Punisher beat 'em up through the Marvel vs. Capcom collection.
Yeah, how'd you
It's
feel
pretty
about
fun.
it?
It was fun. I mean, it's one of those games where I enjoyed it because I had unlimited continues.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm not good at beat 'em ups and I can't take them super seriously. I just jump and kick the whole time. But I did think the shooting was fun when you pick up a gun and you just blast the whole anything on
Yeah.
the screen. That
I
was pretty
really enjoyed
satisfying.
that too. Yeah, I played through it
Um,
as well. That was fun. I did not play as Nick Fury. I played as the Punisher. It felt wrong to not play as the Punisher in the Punisher game. But I would love to play this again co-op. I think it'd be fun. Play it with somebody.
yeah, so I play as the Punisher also, and I'm trying. It sounds such like a boomer here. There's a trophy for playing as Nick Fury. I cannot figure out how to switch characters. Like on the like, I
Oh,
feel
me
like every
neither.
time I start the game,
It just
I try to like
automatically
switch over,
flips.
it just starts. I'm like, I even tried playing two player. It just didn't work. I couldn't figure out how to do it.
That's so funny.
So I
Yeah.
wonder if I have to like log in with the first controller as like the guest, and then like my second controller as me, and then pick Nick Fury. Then maybe you would give me the trophy. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so
But
I'm not crazy because I felt like I was doing
no,
something wrong when I tried to do the same thing.
it just automatically picks the Punisher. I couldn't figure it out either. I
That's
don't
so
know.
funny.
And of course, you Google how to play as Nick Fury, and every result is you play as Nick Fury by choosing him on the screen. It's like,
You're like,
like
that's not what I mean. Oh.
so I understand he's a character. Anyway,
But yeah, it was
so
pretty
that
good.
game was fun.
Very short. I think it only took me it took me less than an hour for sure when I played
Yeah,
through
it's
it.
5 or 6 levels. It's one of those games where like you don't beat it in a sitting if you don't have unlimited continues. You know,
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta get good at it. But since you have unlimited continues, it's like an hour long. Like that.
And I'm pretty sure there's a Genesis port for this that's like a super expensive game too. So I'm pretty sure it's the same game. Do you know about that, Tyler?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
I might be speaking out of my butt there. There's a very expensive Genesis Punisher game. Someone correct me in the comments though. I think
Well,
it's the same one. So if
I
you
feel
want
like
a
someone
console
posted in the
version,
Discord.
Yeah, hold
Someone
on.
posted
That does
something in
sound a little
Discord
familiar.
recently.
yeah.
But
I am not personally a
I'm gonna
big
fact check.
Frank Castle guy myself, but my wife is a very big fan of the Punisher, so I'm definitely going to play it again with her. But it was a good time. I'm just not. It's something about beat 'em ups. It's like they're fun until they're not because it's really repetitive, and the challenge really comes from not having enough money at the arcade. So,
yeah,
like you said, when
this
you
is
have the
this is my
unlimited
perfect.
continues,
Yeah, it's my
Yeah, so
perfect
yeah, it's
perfect way
like
to play them is one sitting for like an hour, get it out of my system,
then
and
you're
I'm
good.
done.
so
Like,
there is, and it's like $200.
okay, yeah, so it's pricey. But
So,
yeah, I was thinking about because what was that indie game from a few years ago? It was River City Girls, I think, where I remember, I tried it out and I was like, this seems pretty fun, and then I found out it was like many hours long, and I was just like, this game, like, this style of game has like a 2 hour time limit, I think, for me before I don't want to play it anymore. No offense to people that like them, but I can't imagine playing any of those games for more than like 120 minutes without feeling like I'm doing the same thing and bashing my head against the
Speaking
wall.
of games that are too long, I'm still playing through Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm now over 40 hours into that game.
oh
Insane.
shit.
Um, it is, I will say, so I have grown on the game. There was actually like a legitimate, like interesting, like twist in the story. I'm like, ooh, like because the whole story had been very like written for children the whole time, and then I got to the something that was like somewhat engaging, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Um, it did try to do like the whole like fake final last boss thing, like this is the final battle, but there's like very clearly been like another area to go to the whole game. Like it's very obvious there's another area. So it kind of didn't subvert my expectations because I knew it wasn't the last battle. Um, But it's still a fun game. I probably got 5 hours left, so I'm looking at probably 45 hours for that game. Way too long, in my opinion. That game needs to be like 15 to 20, maybe 25 hours max if I do all the side stuff. But I don't know. Fun game, not my favorite in the series. Um, Another game I keep up with, I like come back to a lot is Tetris 99.
Hmm.
I've done all of like the Maximus Cups they do every few months. It's literally just like you play for a few minutes, you get 100 points, and then you get like a theme. So this week they did a like Tetris Classic series tournament. It's I think it's because they put I don't know if it's an anniversary going on or what, but they put the NES Tetris on NSO. And then this weekend they had like a event where you can unlock the classic NES theme for Tetris 99. So I played through that. Fun. I've only won that game twice ever, and I've played hundreds and hundreds of that game. I can never actually consistently win. Um,
That's tough.
I Speaking of NSO, I did play through the recently added Donkey Kong Land 1, 2, and
Mm.
3. Or I played through 1 and 2. I'm about halfway through 3. Games are I like them. They're not like awful games. They're not as good as the SNES versions. They're not exact one-to-one down ports, but they're pretty similar. Um, Craig, I see you played at least the first one.
Yes.
When you played it, did you put it on like what like graphic settings did you have?
I just had it to the default, the diarrhea and barf green. So
So so you can play like full screen though?
no, honestly, I didn't even know you could change the settings. I just literally when you open the Game Boy app, whatever it defaults to is how I played it. So
Okay, so I think it defaults to full size screen and then green. You can go in the settings and change it to green, like a gray, black and white thing, or like the color version, which
hmm.
is color version is way better for these games.
Oh, I believe it.
You can also add like a grainy filter to it, and you can shrink the screen. So I was playing these games on like the full size with the color and like Donkey Kong and all the characters are like a brown and yellow, and they stand out against the background. If you go full like traditional mode, like the vomit green, add a filter, and shrink the screen, it is incomprehensible. You cannot see what this game is. Um,
I mean, even full
the way
screen, it
they
was
do
pretty rough.
the way they do the characters look, they're not like they kind of have that look like the Donkey Kong Country games. I don't know how to explain the graphics, but like if you
Kind
see
of
Donkey
like
Kong Country, you know how the
pre-rendered,
characters
yeah.
look. Yeah, the pre-rendered thing. So because of that, on like a really low quality screen, I think they're really hard to like tell what you're looking at. It's just like a meshy blob.
Yeah.
Um, you can really make those games look really shitty on NSO if you want to, and I do not recommend it.
I
But
kind of did
um,
unintentionally then, so that's good.
yeah, go and change to the color settings. It's way more visible.
Yeah, I might check it out, but I
Um,
don't think I'm gonna play two or three. I did not enjoy
yeah,
Land One very much.
yeah. I think they're fun platformers. I would not play them over Country.
Now,
You know.
I will say one is very interesting though because it's like, um, it's very different than Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. Like none of like there's like similar assets used, but all the levels are pretty much different, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, and the music is great. It's really good. Probably some of the best music on the Game Boy. It's really cool. It's kind of just like 8-bit crunched down Donkey Kong Country soundtrack, which is really
Aquatic
cool.
ambiance and
It
crunchy
it's
mode was
really it's
great.
actually really cool. And
Crunchy.
I will say, even though the sprites look pretty fucking, weird and shitty just the way that they're crunched down, all the
Yeah.
animations are really smooth. The environments
Yeah.
of the game look really cool. It's really just the models of the enemies and Donkey Kong and Diddy that look kind of goofy and hard to see. But all the environments are really cool. The controls are definitely really shitty. Everything feels really weirdly loose, and the game has a lot of weird hitboxes that
hmm
don't make any sense whatsoever. I got hit and died a lot to enemies that didn't even touch me. There's times where there's this weird thing in the game where if you are high up, even if there's a ground below you, if you can't see that ground and you jump, you die. You
You
like
fall to your
die
death.
from
Yeah.
fall damage. It's super stupid and
I,
annoying. And I was like, fuck this, I'm rewinding. I'm like, this, I did not deserve to die here. I definitely abused
so,
that. If you're gonna play this
oh yeah.
game, you have full permission to rewind and save state because there's a lot of bullshit deaths in it. But for what it is, it's charming, but I wouldn't say that it's good. It's just kind of interesting that it exists. Like, it was definitely cool, and I bet super novel back then. I could definitely see why people would be nostalgic for it, because for a Game Boy game, it is super impressive just as an actual game.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a video on them, I think, this weekend, and one of my notes as like a negative was the whole like if you jump high enough, the ground goes away and you die.
And you die.
It's like what?
That was ridiculous. But that happened the first time. I was like, am I fucking crazy? Like, I climbed, it was like one of those rope things. I climbed back down, and I was like, no, there's a ground here. I'm just dying from nothing. And then there was there's one level where it's one of the ship levels, and there's like a bee, and even though it's not on screen, for some reason his hitbox was still registering, so I was jumping down, and I'm like, what's killing me? And I tried jumping down a different way, walking, and then I saw the bee there. I'm like, how is that? And there's one fucking level in this game where you're on a platform with a little arrow that bounces you around. That was the worst level I think I've ever played in a platformer. I could not believe it.
Of mine. The platform level was awful.
It was terrible. That was one of the worst levels I've ever played in a game. So you're bouncing around
in
like
a long one too.
Yeah, it's probably the longest level in the game, I think. And you're on a platform that bounces around every time you hit a wall. But when you jump on it, you also change direction. But you have to go in very specific ways. And there's not enough time for you to properly jump and maneuver the platform the way that you want. So you're kind of just bashing your head against the wall for, like, for me, like, being the idiot I am. Yeah, minutes at a time, going in a circle, like, trying to time out these stupid jumps pixel perfect before I hit a wall so I can bounce a different way and fucking go up. It's so stupid. And then you finally get there. Yeah, and then a fucking flying pig comes by. And kills you anyway. It's so stupid. I hated that level. Dude.
That's a terrible level.
It's so bad. I was so excited to talk about it because I was hoping... Like, I had just a feeling that you played it, Zach. We both have no idea that we played it until we started talking today. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you played it because I was like, I need to talk to them about this because this is one of the dumbest things I've ever played.
I'll say that level did not return in 2, and so far it has not returned in 3.
Good, because if it did, I think I would rather just not finish the game. It was so not fun. But then, like, I looked up a long play, and I was like, I have like 20 minutes left. I can't quit now. Like, this game is too short for me to not just finish.
They're short games. I think I put an hour and a half, hour 45 in the first one, and like 2.5 in the second one. I'm like 2 hours in the third one right now. So
yeah, I will say, listen to all of the most recent X Button, or almost all of the most recent X Button gaming podcast featuring Tyler and our friend Christian on it. So that was a fun listen. So shout out to that. Good episode, boy. Tell your friend I want to be on his show because I like his show.
I'll tell him. Hey, at the end of the episode, he said he wants like he was like, yeah, you know, I'll do one with like Craig on it, and then he was like, and the other guy, hold on, don't tell me, Zach.
Damn,
roasted.
Damn, cross-button gaming's dead to me.
He remembered
cross-button gaming.
Cross-button.
Roasted.
Sorry, Chris, we love you.
We do love you.
Are you ready for my redacted games?
Yes, I'm very excited to see what these are.
So the first redacted game is actually spoils a pickup.
Oh. Okay.
I, on a whim, and over the course of like 24 hours, got a Steam Deck.
Oh shoot! Let's go.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Let's go. How exciting!
I've been playing Fish-like. It's an indie WarioWare about fishing.
That's awesome. That sounds. Let me write this down because that sounds amazing.
It's literally just like a complete ripoff of the first WarioWare game, but it's like everything's based around fishing. It's very funny.
That sounds like the perfect video game. Honest to God.
It's so funny because it tells you it's all about fishing, and then the first world's about fishing, and then you go to the second world, no fishing mini games, just random mini games. Awesome. It's like no fishing.
That's great.
So I'll just say it right now because I was going to talk about the pickups, but a friend's coworker bought this. This thing is pristine, basically untouched. 500 gigabyte Steam Deck. And then, like, the day after they announced the OLED, and then so he just bought that one, and he's been trying to offload this. So I got this, like, untouched, pristine Steam Deck for $200.
Hell yeah. That's exciting.
I was like, sure.
Good for you.
I'll take it. I'll take that. No questions asked. So yeah, that was cool. I've got that, and I'm going to play UFO 50 on it next. That's the other thing I want to play.
I want to play that, too. So the thing with UFO 50 that's intimidating is I thought that it was like a bunch of like shorter games, but no, apparently some of these games are like 50, 60 hours long. Like it's just
There's
like
a JRPG in it.
yeah, and it's like a full length like
What?
retro JRPG, and that's so intimidating to me. So now I'm kind of waiting, but I do want to play it.
It is 50 games. They're not necessarily 50 mini games.
Yeah,
Some are short, but some are actual games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really interesting, so I want to check that out. How cool!
Um, but then Redacted number 2. So basically, leading up to this episode, we've all been playing Persona 3, and I've been telling Tyler I haven't been done with the game. I've been gaslighting him. And what I've been doing is I wanted him to think that I was taking all this time to finish the game. It didn't work properly because he figured out I got the Platinum Trophy like a week ago.
Hey,
Well,
I wouldn't have known if freaking PlayStation changed that activity center to where like it pops up your friend's trophies.
Damn.
I was like, wait, hold on. Zach's saying, oh, I might finish it by Saturday, and then I was like, he got all social links. I was like, what the hell does he mean?
So I was trying to tell Tyler that I was like gonna barely finish the game because what I was actually doing. I've been playing with my my online presence offline, and I just beat all of your Astrobot times without you knowing I've been playing it. So all of your Astrobot times are now below mine. I just wanted to make sure.
All
that you
right, I
didn't
know what
I
I'm
was
doing
playing.
today. So
Make sure you didn't know I was
Wow,
playing.
So hold on, it gives me notifications every time somebody beats my time, but when you're in offline, it doesn't. That's interesting.
And
Because
offline,
like
I've
I
been
would just be
hiding.
playing a random game like Persona, it'd be like Peter Santana broke your whatever record. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I made sure I
wow.
was offline. I've been checking. I checked this morning right before we started, and you still have not played since. So I was happy
Dang.
about that.
Dude, Tyler, you got
So
fucking got.
yeah,
I
you got
did.
He got you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm about to get him back. Good thing I only really tried on the first level.
Oh yeah, that took
I
me
mean,
like that one took me a good few tries.
yeah,
I was like, I could tell that
Yeah,
was the one you tried on.
that was the one I was like, I'm gonna go for the record. The other ones I was just like, let me get the bots.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But all right, now I know we got some competition. I need to go
Oh
back.
no, I've uninstalled the game. I got all the trophies. I've
Well, that's
retired
fine.
from Astrobot speedrunning.
That's fine. As long as
Um,
I could get above you, and then
I got screenshots of myself at the top of the leaderboard, and I'm bowing out from the race. I thank you all.
I will screenshot myself above you and post it on the Luscious Slut OnlyFans.
There you
Oh
go.
no.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah,
you guys subscribe to Tyler's Patreon.
Yeah, those are my games I've been playing. I did download Marvel
It's
Rivals.
man.
I'm gonna play it this weekend. I haven't tried it yet.
I've heard
Forever
very
days.
mixed things about Marvel Rivals. I'm very curious to see.
Free game. I got it on the PS5. I'm no harm in trying
You know,
it.
I was a big actual Overwatch fan when it first came out, so if it's anything like how that game used to make me feel in terms of it just being fun and controlling well and everything, then might scratch that itch, because Overwatch hasn't been good for a very long time.
Who
So,
was
Yeah.
your main in Overwatch, real quick?
oh, Diva, 100%. I was a killer
Diva?
Diva, dude. I was a killer Diva back in the day. And then they
Played a
nerfed
lot of Widow.
then they nerfed the shit out of her, and then I changed to, what was his name? Was it Lucio? Was that the healer
Yeah,
guy?
dude, he's
Yeah.
fun to play at.
He is a lot of fun. He's very fun. Or he was. It's been so long now, but
Skating around,
it's
trying
been
to
many
heal up.
years since I played Overwatch. So, and then I just heard that it kept getting worse, so I never went back. Like I never even
Yeah.
tried Overwatch 2, but I honestly think I'd be more interested in Marvel Rivals just because something new, something different.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we all play together.
Yeah, maybe we
I'd be
should try
down
to
for
plan that out because I'm sure you guys are gonna play it on PlayStation anyway. That's where I was probably gonna play it. So.
Well, I was thinking about playing it on the Steam Deck, and then as I was downloading it on there, I was like, oh, it's also just free right here on my PlayStation. I'll just get it there. So.
I'm very excited you have a Steam Deck now because this opens a lot more possibilities for, in terms of like, if we want to do older games, we pretty much all have access now to a really good emulation machine. We'll
Yep.
have to teach
Oh,
you how.
yeah,
We'll have
you
to
know how I
teach you
am.
how to do it.
There's a pretty good guide on like MU Deck and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
MU Deck is a lifesaver because it does it all for you basically, and then you just have to
Yeah.
put the games in. And it's tedious, but you can just download your ROMs directly on the Steam Deck as well. So like you could just open up on desktop mode and download. Like that's how I downloaded a lot of my GameCube
that's what
and
I do.
PS2 and all that. It's tedious, but it gets the job done. So
I
The only thing that
downloaded.
like, good.
I was gonna say I downloaded Aperture Desk Job. Is that worth me playing?
yeah, it's really fun. It's like a solid 30-40 minutes long, but it's really fun. It has that same kind of style of like Portal humor if you like the Portal games. So
Sure.
The only thing that really got me about like Steam Deck emulation was like getting BIOS files.
true,
That thing
but One of the nice things is if you mostly do Nintendo stuff, most of it you don't need it because
Yeah.
Dolphin broke the law many years ago and just included the BIOS files, and they never took them out, even though they've kind of gotten in trouble for it. So,
Nice.
I've gotten Saturn to work on there. I've gotten PS2, PS1. So,
And it's cool because you could like upscale the stuff on there too.
yeah, which is really neat. So
Like I
everything
remember I was
runs pretty
helping
well.
Jonathan.
A
I was
lot
helping
of
Jonathan. Good.
Oh no, I was gonna say Saturn stuff is still you got to do a lot of tinkering, but everything else pretty much just works, which is nice. So Saturn is just such a bitch for some reason, no matter how you emulate it.
Yeah, like I remember I was helping Jonathan with it, and there's like I put Need for Speed Most Wanted, got him to get that, and like you could just up the frame rate, the graphics,
Yeah, it's
everything.
cool.
There's also a way to like get rid of that like yellow filter on the game, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, you could do shaders, all these different other fancy things. So you could really make your stuff look pretty cool. A lot of GameCube games have gotten like support to like make widescreen hacks and stuff. So a lot of cool, interesting stuff out there. One thing that's really cool is I didn't beat it, but I played a decent amount of Mario Galaxy 2 on there because you could use the touchpads like pointing with the Wii remote, which was cool.
Oh, nice.
So-
I never
so-
knew how that would work.
Yeah, so that's like you could even do Wii games on there pretty good because of the touchpads. So it's a really really cool machine, especially for emulation. So like I've
Yeah,
definitely
feels good to hold too.
I've done yeah, it's beefy but it's comfortable still. So I've definitely done more emulation on it than anything else, but it's
Yeah.
like I have the Halo Master Chief Collection on there, being able to play that portably, super cool. I downloaded Final Fantasy 13 on there because I plan on playing it that way eventually. I've always wanted to try that. And there's just so many cool indie games that are only on PC, and it's kind of the perfect way to play them.
I think
Because
it's gonna be my indie machine
Yeah.
going forward. Because Switch was my indie machine, but some of them only come to Steam first. So I'm gonna
yeah,
I think I'm gonna start making that my indie machine.
I think it's definitely the Steam Deck is definitely the best for indies and emulation. So because I don't know, no matter how many times I play a game on my PC, I just don't like playing games on PC. It's just not for me. Like when I play when I'm on a computer, it's just that's not what I like to do. I don't like mouse and keyboard. I don't like having to tweak settings if something's not working right. So just not for me.
There's always some great sales. on
That's
Steam.
also true too. Steam, like I got last weekend, Psychonauts 1 and 2. I think it was like for $4 for both of them, and it's like you can't fucking beat that. And it's like cool, now I can play them portably. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got my Steam Deck, they were doing like a Christmas sale or something, and it was like this giant Valve bundle. I got like all the Half-Lives, all the Portals, a whole bunch of other stuff, Left 4 Dead's, and it was like $4.95 or something like that. Like I was like, okay.
it's crazy. It's crazy how cheap some of this shit gets. All right, I guess we could talk about what I've been playing now. So Punisher Arcade we went over. Marvel vs. Capcom, been playing that as well, 1 and 2. I count this as a game beaten. I finished a run of Balatro, which was very exciting.
Heck yeah.
I was never a disbeliever. People were mad about the Game Awards being nominated Game of the Year. People were like, it's a stupid card game. And I was like, nah, I wasn't a hater. I thought it seemed cool and interesting, so I always wanted to try it. And I actually played it all on my phone because it seemed like a good phone game, to tinker on at work, when I'm on break or, if I'm watching TV with the wife and just want to kind of mess around with something. It's a good kind of game for, like, just kind of multitasking and playing a little bit at a time since you could leave and come back in the middle of a run at any time. Man, it's so addicting, though, because even after I beat a run, I definitely did keep going and playing more and more. I've only been able to beat one run so far, because the numbers just get so exponentially high, and I definitely don't understand all of the intricacies of how you can make your card multipliers go crazy. Like I see some people get like billions of points in one hand, and that's just insane to me. So for those of you that don't know, Balatro is like kind of like a poker style game where you have like your different hands, like your pairs, your 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, your flushes, your straights, all that stuff, and you get different points for the kind of hand you have plus the amount of points that your card is worth. So, like, I think, like, an ace is worth 11 points, all the face cards are 10, then 10 is 10, 9 is 9, so on and so forth. And then all of these things you could have different multipliers for. Like, they could have a stamp on it that's like, oh, this card has, its points get multiplied and added up twice. Or this card is holo, so you get, like, holo foil, so you get, 10 plus multiplier for your final score, this, that, the other. And then on top of that, all of your jokers are things that you can get at the end of each round, which are different like special effects. Like you could have all your face cards or like counted twice, or all of your cards with an even number are counted twice. Different things like that. And you only have a limited number of hands, discards this, that, the other per round. There's a lot to it, so I don't want to ramble forever. But it is like one of the most weirdly deep games I've ever played in terms of its mechanics and custom ability and what you can do. And it has the fun and frustrating element of RNG, because you never know what you're going to get. It's kind of a roguelike, right? Is the best way to describe it, like a roguelike poker game.
It's basically a roguelite. Yeah, it's a roguelite, and the jokers are your perks, basically.
Yes.
Think of it like that.
So it is very, very fun, very addicting. If you get it on mobile, it's only $10, which is $5 cheaper than console digital versions. There are physical versions for $30. I think that's a little steep. Kind of cool, though, because it does come with a pack of physical cards, which is fun and interesting. But if you're one of those people that saw Balatro nominated for Game of the Year at the Keeleys and you're mad about it, don't knock it till you try it, because is it my Game of the Year? No, but is it probably one of the most fun experiences I had with a game this year? 100%.
It's my number 3 right now.
Is it?
Game of the Year.
There you go.
Yep. You said you played at work. Did you ever play like where you like listened to? Did you ever have like headphones in, like listen to the music?
Oh, the music is excellent. Yes.
I just get like slowly absorbed into the screen. Is that because it's one song and it just plays on a loop, and it's a very good song.
Oh, it's
and
such
I
a
literally
vibe.
just like, yeah. I can't wait for the Keeleys. They're gonna have an orchestrated version of that.
Yeah,
Like,
It's all going to slow down. Like. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Have you played it at all yet, Tyler?
I have not.
Definitely check it out. It's really cool. I looked at the achievements on iPhone, which I'm assuming are the same as like the trophies and different things on other platforms. Insane. It almost seems impossible. So definitely don't
really?
achievement. Oh my gosh, yes. It literally looks like it would be impossible. I think the platinum, it has like a 0.1% platinum rate on PSN. It's like crazy low. So
I'm interested. I put like 60 hours in that game. I'm interested to see. I want it because I play on the Switch. I need to go look at the trophies and see which ones I'd have and which ones I'd be missing.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty, but definitely recommend. I also played some Shadow Generations. I beat that. It took me about 3.5 hours, which I think is honestly longer than Sonic Generations. I think that's only like maybe a 3-hour game. So
Yeah, if I remember right.
pretty beefy. I thought that it was pretty good. Not as great as some people are saying. But I'm also probably the biggest Sonic fan that hates Sonic games. So I'm really critical of my Sonic games because I think that there's way more bad than good. But it's weird because the structure is a lot like Sonic Generations, between like having like a 3D level and a side-scrolling level. But the way that Shadow controls is so different from Sonic Generations because it's made with the Frontiers like engine, so he controls like Sonic does in Frontiers. So it feels very weird, especially if you hop from one to the other. But the music was great, of course, because I love all the Shadow Edgelord butt rock music. It makes me very happy. It was very fun seeing a lot of stuff from the Shadow the Hedgehog game be represented, which is obvious, but people have hated on that game for years, but I've always had a soft spot for it because it was one of my favorites growing up. So a fun little game. If you're a Sonic fan, I'm sure you'll enjoy it, at least to some extent, and it's pretty short too, so definitely a game from this year that you could knock out pretty fast if you're interested in it. I played through some Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Big Monkey Ball fan, especially 1 and 2 on the GameCube like everybody else. This game was very easy up until like the last 2 worlds, then I found myself bashing my head against the wall. The last couple of levels were pretty ridiculous, and
This is the new one, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I always forget the title of that one. The previous, the banana, whatever. I forget.
Banana Mania.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so this one is kind of funny. I tried to cheese it at the end. I was like, whatever, I'm going to put on the easy mode where you have checkpoints or whatever. And it's like some of the final levels just don't have them, even if you put on the baby mode. So it's like, not only do you not get the points if you beat the level, you don't get any checkpoints anyway, so fuck you. You just have to tough it out and get good. So, but very good music, cute art style. Enjoyed that. Nothing super special, honestly, but Monkey Ball's always a fun time. And then
It was a fun game, for sure.
I played some real good retro games. I played through Pikmin 1 and 2. So I've
I
always
wanted
wanted to
those.
try these games. As a certified GameCube lover, I was ashamed I never beat these games. But I finally went ahead and played them. I played them on the Switch just for portability factor. Um, Pikmin is very good. It's kind of the only RTS I think I've ever played. And I think that the games are actually a little bit more difficult than you'd think they'd be for how kiddish and cutie they are. But the music is very good. They're very vibey, chill games. You're just kind of in these like weird little foresty worlds with these strange creatures, and it's a good time. There's definitely a lot of strategy and thinking to be efficient with your time. The first Pikmin game, you have a 30-day time limit. I finished it within 25 days. So I had some time to spare, but I didn't do great by any means. I think the world record is like people have beaten it in like 4 days. So it's like there's definitely room for improvement if I want to do better. But it's really about it's definitely a game that's meant to be replayed, and like you optimize your route, and it's like you get like a score at the end of how many Pikmin you made, died, how many days you beat the game in, stuff like that. So it's definitely a game that's meant to be replayed. Very charming and cute. I enjoyed it a lot. The second Pikmin game, also very good, but I did not like it as much because there's a majority of what you're doing in that game is there's no time limit, but you're paying back debt and collecting treasures. And most of these treasures are in these underground tunnels, in these rooms that are kind of randomly generated. And it's just, I found it more frustrating, the RNG elements of the rooms you might end up in. I felt like the game was just a little bit more unfair. Like sometimes it's like, I'd enter a tunnel and it's like all of a sudden all my Pikmin died because something spawned behind me and set them all on fire. It was like stupid shit like that. But the game had exactly. But the game did have a lot of cool stuff. Like I like that you have two captains and that one opposed to one, so you're able to kind of split up your team and maneuver that way and strategize that way. The addition of purple Pikmin was interesting because it's like they're the strength of 10 regular Pikmin, so you're able to strengthen up your army and fight back pretty well with that. The white Pikmin were weird because they were very situational, and it was also really hard to find them in my experience. I felt like I wasn't coming across them super often, even when I needed them, which was kind of frustrating. But I was able to get through the game, beat it. I did not 100% it, because I just didn't enjoy it enough to go back and get all of the treasure. But I got the first credit run because there's two. One for paying off your debt, one for 100%ing the game. So I got the first one, and then you have to save Louis because after you pay off your debt, you forget him on planet Earth, and you have to go back and find him. So I went back and found him and beat the final boss, which was very difficult, actually. I was shocked at how hard it was. And then I saved Louis, beat the final boss, and I considered it complete from there because I did not want to 100% the game. I kept it loaded on my Switch, though, in case I ever decided to go back to it. And then I started Pikmin 3. Not very far yet, but I'm enjoying it a lot so far. There's tons and tons of quality and life improvements right off the bat that I think are very beneficial to the game that I'm liking a lot, so I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Sorry I went on for so long. I played a lot over the Thanksgiving long weekend, but
We kind of all played a lot of games this time.
I know, we've been busy. It's a good time. There's something about the winter time. Like, during the summer, especially since I live in Vegas, it's so hot. I feel like I'm dying. I get home from work and I don't want to do anything except for, like, rot on the couch and be miserable. And then wintertime comes around and it's like I'm happy, I'm cozy, and I just want to play a bunch of video games. So I always play a lot more, like, November, December, January, February. That's, like, where most of my gaming happens, is those couple of months.
Very nice.
Understandable.
Hell yeah. So, after, what is it, an hour, we are just fucking so inefficient with our time today, boys. And that's okay.
It's going to be a 4-hour podcast.
That's part of why I wanted to start so early when I found out my wife made those appointments to get her tires changed, because I was like, I just had a feeling this was going to be a long one between all the stuff we've been playing, because, we talk outside the podcast, believe it or not, we all are friends. And I know we all are going to have a lot to say about Persona as well, so part of why we started early, because we knew this was probably going to be a record-breaking podcast in terms of length. All right, but oh shit.
Yeah, you missed the pickups, sir.
Yeah, I know. I deleted the pickup section. I almost went straight to Tyler's history lesson. I fucked up the show notes.
Even
Damn
longer.
It. All right. I've been talking for a while, so I'm not going to go first on pickups. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and show your pickups? Oh,
Me?
Yeah.
Zach, don't you have like only one?
Yeah, I was just going to be quick.
Oh, you go.
Steam Deck is the first big pickup, and the other one I've been waiting on the mail for that hasn't shown up yet.
Oh, you're hoping
I did finally break my rule, and I just bought the last WarioWare on eBay. I wanted to get it in person, but I found one that looked really nice for like $45 plus shipping, and I
There
was
you go.
like, sure.
What did you need?
Bird
Mega
Dog
Micro Games?
Mega Party Games, the GameCube one.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Bird Dog
Oh.
found me a cheaper one than I found one that was nice for like 55, and he found one for like $10 cheaper.
Nice.
And
Shout out to the
It
Bird
should show up
Dog.
today, maybe. But
Hopefully.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's cool to see that saga finally come to a close, man. I remember
Mhm.
picking you some of this up last year on Black Friday.
Yeah, Tyler, you got me like 3 at once, I think. I can't remember. But...
What a homie.
Yeah, 'cause I was like, yo, this store got 20% off. You want this Game and Wario? And you're like, yeah. I was like, yo, I got WarioWare Touch. You want it for like however cheap it was? Yeah.
God, Touch is so good.
Okay, so for me, as I mentioned before, this game I'm not gonna mention because it's really bad. And then I went to a store for Black Friday. They were doing buy two get one free, so like everything in the store. Like you can get a PS5 buy two get one free, except Pokemon games. Exception. Can't get rid of that Pokemon. Anything else though, buy two get one free. I didn't go too heavy because I gotta focus on Christmas gifts because it's quickly approaching, faster than what I could believe.
Oh yeah.
So I just went with some simple titles. I got a Arc of Alchemist. It's like some JRPG on the PS4. Never heard of it before, so and it's
Some
Idea
weeb shit.
Factory, so why not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Idea
technically.
Factory. Idea Factory is always worth picking up.
Yeah, Idea Factory, one to look out for. This one I've seen before, but I have no clue. It's like some party battle action game thing, whatever it says, Bazooka.
Bazooka.
Pick that up. And then I didn't know what to get for free, so I was like, well, it's a $20 PS5 game. Edge of Eternity, GS2 game's
okay.
probably really bad.
Yeah, I've heard mixed
from what I
things about
remember,
it.
From what I remember, it was like a GameStop exclusive.
I think so.
Why not? It's neat. Picked up the Patrick Star game.
Woo!
Got that, $25. That was a fun little playthrough. I played it all in one sitting. It's like an open sandbox. Oh wait, I played that. I could talk about that on playing games. Well, I played that. Open sandbox, goat simulator type game. Pretty fun. Picked
There you
up
go.
Dead Island 2. Don't know why. Seen it on Walmart for $20 or $15, and I was like, yeah. And then I realized that it was the plus game of the month, and I was like, oh, that's dumb.
That's funny. I actually heard that was pretty. I've actually heard Dead Island 2 is better than it reviewed though. I've heard it's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
It's solid.
Pretty nice. Then Walmart had a random Black Friday deal that popped up like way late, and it was Silent Hill 2 for $30. Of course, that sold out in like 2 seconds. So I was like, well, dang. So I hit up good old friend Target Support, and I was like, hey, if I buy Silent Hill 2, are you able to price match? And they're like, oh yeah. So Silent Hill 2, he price matched it. He just like took a certain dollar amount off of my total, and it actually made it like $27. So
Nice.
win. That's not a recent pickup. I don't know why that's in here. Went to another game store. They had this for $25. The Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance Steelbook Edition. Pick
That
up.
artwork is so cool. I love the cover of that game.
It is. And I don't know. I bought the original one on Switch. I bought the collector's edition because I was like, man, this game looks really cool. I want to play it. Of course, I never got around to it. Now they released this one, so
Mhm. It's
hopefully
the
I'll play
Atlas
that
way.
one. Then I got Xenon Racer on PS4. Never seen it before, but it's a Desco title. That's one to definitely look out for. Got Sonic Shadow Generations on the PS5 because I didn't want to open my PS4 copy, though it was $30. Why not? And lastly, Amazon eventually put these back up, so I pulled the trigger. I got the
Ooh.
DualSense PS5 controller, the
exciting.
PlayStation 30th anniversary. So that was
Nice.
pretty neat.
That's cool.
And that's all what I got.
Good stuff. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have got that controller, but it's okay. I don't need another one.
I'm digging the new startups when you turn your PS5 on. It does the PS1, the.
Oh, I heard
thing.
about that. I haven't used my
Yeah.
PlayStation since they added that though, so I need to
It's
check
worth
it out.
turning on just once to get it.
All right, pickups for me: Sonic X Shadow Generations on PS5. Shout out, by the way, to the multiple inserts in this game. It made me happy that there was a bunch of inserts in that game.
That Robotnik's journal got some pretty cool stuff in it.
It is really interesting, especially if you're a Sonic dork like us.
Show.
At my GameStops nearby, they actually had a decent amount of older stuff. So I got some older games from GameStop. I got My Japanese Coach. I thought that was fun for $10. It is usually like a $20 game, so kind of cool to get it for about 50% off anyway. We got, I don't know, I was shocked I didn't have this. The original Darksiders, complete in box with manual. Really cool cover art. And I've always heard these are very good, like 3D Zelda likes, so I want to check it out eventually. I already own the second one as well, so. I don't know if this is hard to find or not. Virtua Tennis 4. The Vita version of this game is kind of hard to find, and I've never seen the Wii version, so I figured for $7, why not? And, you know, kind of a famous Sega series, so figured cool little thing to add to the collection. Next up, all 360 games, since I'm always slacking in the 360 front. I got Crackdown complete in box. I've always heard good things about this series. Never tried it, though.
Thought they were all going to be Peter Jackson's King Kong.
No, that'd be funny, though. I got
3 Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Halo Reach complete in box. Got Halo 3 ODST complete in box. And Halo 4 complete in box. So I got me a good amount of Halo and good amount of just kind of older stuff at this point. Don't know if you want to call it retro, but older releases, always fun to buy. And, you know, it's nice being able to buy decent video games for, you know, around the $5 mark in 2024, just because that's hard to do nowadays. So,
This is true.
Yeah, so nice to add some stuff to the collection I've been wanting for a while, and that I actually would like to play eventually, since Lord knows I don't play enough of my video games. All right, Tyler, Mr. Luscious Slut,
Yeah.
Time for us to learn some history from you today.
All right. Just gotta say, I apologize last week, or 2 weeks ago. Very long. This one, not as long. So, kind of fitting for this episode. So,
There we go.
Get to the main topic. Starting off, November 26, 1999 is when Sega announced its plans to make the Dreamcast the center of its web strategy, focusing on multiplayer online gaming. We see how well that went.
I was gonna say, man, I hope it works out for him.
2002, Square and Enix announced they are merging companies to form Square Enix by April 1st, 2003.
Baller.
Skipping November 27th, we're going to November 28th. We got 1998. Nintendo releases the Game Boy Color video game system in the U.S. Price is $79.95.
Hell yeah.
There's 4 launch games. Now, I got some feedback that people said they liked me quizzing you guys on the launch lineup. So what are the four launch games? If you want to take a shot.
I think Millipede and Centipede are 2 of them. Or one of them. I think it's like a combo
Centipede.
pack or something weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know that. I don't know if I know any of the other ones. That's the only one I think I know. There has to be something first-party Nintendo. Was it like one of the Game & Watch collections?
Game & Watch Gallery 2.
Let's go!
Mm.
Undefeated. What you
Zach
got,
played
Zach?
Zach played a version of one of these games in his gaming. What he's been playing.
Oh, is it Donkey Kong Country? The Game Boy Color
No.
version? No. Okay.
No.
Let's see. Is it some form of a Tetris?
Yes.
Uh,
Tetris DX.
Tetris DX,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
And then what's the
And
last
you got
one?
one more. Pocket Bomberman.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Now,
Why the
there's
fuck
another
did I
quiz.
know Centipede? I have no idea why I knew that.
I mean, I was like, oh, sell a centipede. All right, next one. So, what were the main colors that the Game Boy Color came out in? Not like the limited editions, like just the basic,
Green, purple, blue?
Pink? Yellow?
We got, so yellow's dandelion, red is berry. We got the atomic purple. We got
okay.
teal blue, grape, and kiwi.
There you go. I had the
There's
atomic
one.
purple as a child.
I have 2. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but there's one in this region of my frame somewhere over there.
You should have your systems alphabetized too.
Good idea. I'm gonna make this place a war zone.
Your game room's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, very eclectic.
So, moving on, November 29th, 1993 is when Sega released Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine for the Genesis. Great game. Kind of. December 1st, 1998, Nintendo releases Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link for the Nintendo Entertainment System in the US. The game cartridge includes a battery for saving one's place in the game.
Hell yeah.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, just Just think, back then, play a game you can't save. Rough. Now we got save states. 1994, U.S. Senator for Connecticut Joseph Lieberman holds a press conference in Washington, D.C. to bring up the issue of violence in video games. So now he shows segments of 2 games. I'm going to see if you guys want to take a shot at this. One's Mortal Kombat. Yeah. And what's the other one?
Night Trap.
Okay, Craig knows his stuff. I like it.
Dude, I have the video game equivalent to Brain Rot for sure. I just have so much useless information up here.
That's why he was like Centipede.
Centipede!
December 3rd, in Japan, 1994, the PlayStation was released. 30 years, big milestone.
Hell yeah.
1996, Acclaim Entertainment releases Mortal Kombat Trilogy for the Sega Saturn in the US. 2001, Nintendo releases Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube in the US.
Hell yeah.
2001, Nintendo releases Pikmin for the GameCube in the US. I threw that one here specifically for Craig.
Oh, you're the best.
Since he played it.
Very good
December
series.
4th, 1995, Nintendo released Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest for the Super Nintendo. December 5th, 2001, Capcom released Mega Man X6 for the PlayStation. And 2005, Nintendo released Super Mario Strikers for the GameCube. December 8th, 1999 is when Sony CEA released Gran Turismo 2 for the PlayStation. Kind of crazy. That's like one of PlayStation's franchises that's still going.
Yeah, and I've never even seen gameplay from one of them, I don't think.
I think the best-selling PS1 game is Gran Turismo.
Pretty sure it isn't.
So.
I think Final Fantasy VII is the second one, which is like wild to think about.
The early Gran Turismos were all like top sellers. I think like on PS2, I think one of the GTAs got it. Like maybe San Andreas, I can't remember, but one of the Gran Turismos is also really up there.
Yeah, I just never been huge on like the racing sims. Like I definitely prefer like the more karty racers, like a Nitro Kart or a Mario Kart or things like that.
Yeah, I tried Gran Turismo 5 on the PS3, and it was neat, but I couldn't get into the like, which air filter is better for. So I don't know.
Just give me Burnout 3 and let me do the crash mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Burnout 3 is the best Burnout.
It's so good, dude. So good.
Oh.
You know what? When my niece was 2 years old, I wanted to make sure her first video game was a good one, and I had her play Burnout 3. So she can grow up and say that her first game was a great, good game.
December 9th, 2006. These are always fun, so we're going to go over it. Spike TV Network airs Spike TV's Video Game Awards 2006 show.
Hell yeah.
So, there's a lot of categories on this one, but best performance by a human female, we got Vita Guerrera and Scarface, The World Is Yours. Best game...
A human female? Hold on. Yeah, you're thinking the same thing, okay?
What?
Is there a female dog category, too? Like...
That's what it says. I don't know. That was the category.
So
Odd.
Best game based on a movie or TV show. So what do you think released that was the best game based on a movie or TV show?
Ooh, in 2006.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
All right.
Maybe it's Peter Jackson's King Kong the official game of the movie?
No, it's not.
That was 2005, actually, so otherwise it would have been.
Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy.
I feel like that's a stretch.
That's good. Yeah.
Like, it's not a bad choice, but...
Based off of... I don't know.
And then we got best supporting male performance. We got James Gandolfini in Road to Respect. Studio of the Year went to Epic Games for Gears of War.
Oh,
favorite classic game overall was Pac-Man.
What a random fucking award. What does that even mean? No limitations, just anything.
Game.
Classic game, Pac-Man.
Yeah.
How funny.
Critics' Choice, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Best Fighting Game, Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Oh,
Best Shooter Game, Gears of War. Best Graphics, Gears of War. Best Handheld Game, New Super Mario Bros. Best Role-Playing Game, The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Best Multiplayer Game, Gears of War. Best Cast, Family Guy. Best Human Cast. Best Individual Sports Game, Tony Hawk's Project 8. Best Original Score, Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Best driving game, Burnout Revenge for the Xbox 360. Best performance by a human male, Patrick Stewart in The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Really, that was just best performance by a male. I want to clarify what the difference is between male and human male.
Yeah. Why are they two categories?
I don't know. Maybe
why someone different win?
Also, Patrick Stewart has like 10 lines in Oblivion before he dies, and then he's not in the game anymore. No spoilers. He dies in the tutorial, so I don't know if that's a fair award either.
Well, maybe
Sean
he was the only
Bean is
human
also
male
in that game, so...
My favorite Elder Scrolls voice actor is
Todd
Charles
Howard.
Martinet. Charles Martinet being Parthenax, the big dragon on the mountain.
In Skyrim.
It's like what?
It's so weird. So weird.
Maybe this is why the Spike doesn't do Game Awards anymore.
I don't think Spike
Best
exists.
supporting female performance, that's true. Rachel Lee Cook in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Who'd she play, Kyrie?
I don't know, it doesn't say. Probably, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
You know who got the best soundtrack? Guitar Hero 2.
That's not fair.
So there's a best score and a best soundtrack?
I guess.
Is that accurate? And there's also best male and best human male?
You know what? You guys need to apologize to Jeff Keighley. This is way worse.
Jeff Keighley, we're sorry. This
It's stupid. We have best male performance, best human male performance, best female human performance, and best female support. What are these fucking categories?
Man. So, we got Breakthrough Technology, the Wii. Best action game. You would think Gears of War, but you think not, because it is Dead Rising. Best song, we got Lights and Sounds by Yellowcard and Burnout Revenge for the Xbox 360.
Shout out to Yellowcard. Ocean Avenue, all-time emo classic. Let's go.
Most addictive game, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Best team sports game, NBA 2K7. Game of the year, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
How did Gears of War not win? It had way more awards.
I don't.
Wait, yeah.
Well,
like, what was the first one? Gears of War won something big. It was like
they won. Let me go back. We
I
got.
swear they won like best game.
Yeah.
They won. They won Studio of the Year. They won Best Shooter Game.
Okay,
Best
so studio-
Graphics.
Yeah.
Best Multiplayer Game. Yeah.
But
Best studio is what I thought. Okay.
the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion had Patrick Stewart, so
Yeah. You know them.
which
10
is the
lines
best
put them
human male
on top.
performance.
No, he's best male performance.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. There's a difference. As we all know, Patrick Stewart is not a human. So he's an ethereal being way beyond our comprehension.
He's a
Patrick
mutant.
Stewart.
But he's
What you
still
have to
still
say.
male, so he qualifies.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Oh man.
That was
And,
insane. Okay, go on.
so I'm glad we experienced that little bit of history, and of course we got to end it off on our new found tradition, which is an ET fun fact. And we got that. Did you know Harrison Ford was originally cast as Elliot's school principal, but unfortunately his scene was cut. Probably want to throw Patrick Stewart in there, but
I couldn't do it. I found out yesterday that Drew Barrymore is in E.T. I just thought I'd share that with you guys.
look at I said look at ET. Look at Craig finding out ET stuff. I love it.
Yeah. My love for Drew Barrymore comes from my all-time favorite movie, Scream, when she gets murdered in the first 5 minutes. So, shout out to Scream.
Spoilers.
What'd you say?
It's spoilers.
Shut up. Movie's older than us. It's fine. Didn't say who the killers were. But God, if you guys haven't watched Scream, you need to. It really is
Ghostface,
the best movie
duh.
ever. Yeah, exactly. Fucking idiots. Alright. Boys, topic of the show.
What are we? 2 hours in?
We are an hour 20, so pretty obnoxious. No, it's fine. Persona 3. So, Persona 3, the seminal PlayStation 2 JRPG by Atlas, released in the States, August 2007. This is one of, in my opinion, the greatest games ever made. it really it didn't bring Persona into the mainstream, but it's definitely what kickstarted Persona becoming mainstream, because this was the first big successful game in the series. It's kind of what started the famous Atlas re-releases. Atlas is always getting criticized because they release their games multiple times with different versions and different content. This game has had, I think, 5 releases now, because there's the original, there's FES, there's Portable, and then there's a port of Portable onto the HD consoles, and now there's Reload. So there's a lot of Persona 3 out there. And yeah, I have very strong feelings about this game. We are going to talk about it in spoiler and non-spoiler fashion. So if you guys are listening and you don't want to get spoiled on the game, but you still want to hear our kind of overall thoughts, not so much including the major plot points, we will give you a warning before we switch over to that. But Zach, why don't we go with you first? Why don't you give us a brief how you feel about Persona 3 after finally playing it?
So I've been playing Persona 3 for like several. I think I started in August.
It's been a while, yeah.
And I think I mentioned it a little bit in the last episode. The real thing that was holding me up from finishing it was, I feel like the game is best played in long sit downs. So this last month or so, when I've been dedicating it as my main game, I was enjoying it a lot more. But early on, I was playing it like 1.5 hour chunks, and I was just couldn't quite get the ball rolling. I was doing like a lot of story and then battling, and a lot of story and then battling. I wasn't getting the whole mix. But after I got the ball rolling and like made it my game, I really ended up enjoying it a lot. The battle system was a lot of fun. I think this is my first Atlas game. I'm assuming the other personas are similar, but I like the pass mechanic when you hit a weakness and you can like pass it over to a teammate to exploit weaknesses and just chain those together. I thought that was a really fun system. Social link stuff is fun. I'm sure we'll get into that in more detail, but yeah, I ended up really enjoying the game, despite, in my opinion, the slow start it had.
Tyler, why don't you give us your overview, how you felt about Persona 3?
All right, my overview on Persona 3. So, I started this game like way back when it first came out. Played it like for a little bit, and then Craig was like, "I want to do an episode," and I was like, "All right, well, get me to finish it, so let's do it." So, start doing some luscious hours, whatever you want to call it. Like Zach said, this game is, I feel, best played in like longer sessions, because if not, then if you're going to do everything, like one sit down, you're just going to be doing like main school side stuff, and the other one just going to be like a Tartarus run. So it's cool to like get a big mix of those in one gameplay session. So my Persona knowledge, I played Persona 5 Royal first, so I got experience with that. So kind of similar with Reload. Going to that, I do like for Reload, well, Persona 3 in general, like it's a lot darker of a game. I kind of enjoy that. I'll go further into that when we get to that part. But I'm starting to think, because of the darker theme, I might like it better than Persona 5. Might like it better than Persona 5, Craig. Maybe.
Interesting.
It's pretty close.
Sit on it.
But like, I don't know. When we get into the spoilery part, then we'll get a full-on discussion like that. But overall, really liked it. The combat's always fun. And isn't it like, Jason was telling me, the original, you can't control your party members?
No. So in Persona 3 and in Persona 3 FES, you cannot control your party members. They did not add that until Portable.
Wild.
Yeah, so you can kind of guide them. Like, you can set them to be like aggressive, to guard, to be like on healing duty, different things like that. Aim for weaknesses, but you cannot actually choose. Like, you can't be like, all right, Mitsuru, use Marin Karen or whatever. You can't actually select what your party members are gonna do.
I bet that brought some frustrating moments.
Oh, you have no fucking idea, dude. You have no
critical moment.
You got no clue what I've fucking been through, man. It's brutal. But
we took the easy way,
Yeah. So the boys played the Reload. I've played the Reload as well. We all got the platinum, right? All 3 of us. Cool.
No,
I did. Yeah.
You chump.
But
what are you missing?
But it should be simple. So the one trophy where you got to invite Elizabeth to your room. Right? So I didn't realize I had to do 4 separate sessions before that in order to get her, the last one, to come to my room. So I was like, all right. So at the end, when I was like a week out from the ending, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go through this, get all the requests done. So I got all the requests done, and then I was like, oh, I gotta do this like that many times. I was like, oh, I got a couple days left, not realizing that she only asks you like every couple days. So I was
Yeah.
like,
3 days. Same thing happened to me.
shit.
Yeah.
But I have a save back in like December 1st or December
Ooh.
2nd. So I'm
There
gonna
you
just
go.
I'm gonna just go reload that one. Yeah, reload. Um,
Uh,
I'll just reload that one and then go through all those tedious ass fusion requests and that with the guide that didn't work for me. I was getting
yes,
frustrated with that one.
we'll
But
talk about that.
yeah, go through that one. I'll probably do that tonight or sometime this weekend. No, I'll
Yeah.
get the platinum.
So I guess to kind of give a bit of an overview for those of you that are listening and don't know about Persona 3, first of all, sorry about the first hour and 30 minutes where you're just listening to us waiting for us to talk about Persona 3.
I'm not. Deal with it.
You're like, I'll do it again, bitch.
I'll do it
So, so Persona 3, to give like an overall kind of view of what this game is, it is a Japanese role-playing game that is like half like social simulator, half dungeon crawler, right? So what you do is there's a dungeon crawling element of the game where it's a turn-based RPG. You're going through RNG floors in a very long dungeon, and then you are also you're fighting, leveling up, this, that, the other, and then in the other half of the game is your social aspect. So you're going to school, you have to go to class, answer questions to bring up your intellect, do different things to bring up your social attributes, which is courage, intelligence, and what's the third one in this game? I'm blanking. Can one of you guys help me?
Ain't it charm?
It's like charm.
Charm, yeah, charm.
Some
So
form of
your
charm.
your Riz factor. So you got Riz, intelligence, and whatever. You're working on all that. You're hanging out with your friends. Each friend and person you can hang out with kind of has like a social level as well. They're called social links. You can level them up by hanging out with people and saying things that don't piss them off. You can potentially have a significant other, depending on the choices you make as well, with no major changes to the story or game, but you kind of get some personalized cutscenes and events in the game based off of those choices that you make. And this is kind of a popular thing for games to do now, is to have like these social sim elements in these JRPGs, and Persona was really the one to start that, which is really cool. They really kind of started this whole trend. It's like a lot of newer RPGs implement these kind of elements, and Atlas was really the first one to kind of do it, popularize it. I won't say perfect it in Persona 3. I think they did a good job, but I think that they got better when they got to Persona 4. But yeah, so it's half social sim, half dungeon crawler. Very well known for its these games are very well known for their really good stories, really good well written characters and writing, very good English voice acting, even for back in the day. Very, very, very good music. Shoji Meguro is the fucking goat. Makes some of the best soundtracks in games ever. And yeah, people, these games have such a loving following for a reason. For a while, a long time ago, I would have said a cult following, but definitely not anymore. Persona's broken into the mainstream, especially since Persona 5 came out. So, yeah, Persona is it's definitely worth your time if you haven't played it yet. I guess we could start with, the intro of the game. So how did you guys feel when you started this game with that first intro cutscene where you were walking through and you see all these coffins? What was kind of your initial reaction to the kind of like overall theming and vibe of the game? Was it what you were expecting? Did you think it was cool, interesting, weird?
I knew a little bit about the game, so I kind of knew a little bit about the Dark Hour thing from watching my buddy Matt play the beginning part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, made it seem a lot more darker and eerie type thing. It made me kind of like, keep playing to figure out like what's going on, which, like Zach said, is a little bit of a little lengthy part to get to that part, but I really enjoyed I feel like that part really like pulls you in,
Mm-hmm.
By you, Zach.
Yeah, I like a good like mystery kind of thing, like what's going on. Yeah, you're and also like the moon's cool, so like I like seeing the big creepy green moon up there. But yeah, I love a good mystery. So like when figuring out like some weird environment and like what's going on and why I'm here and all that stuff. All that stuff. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I think I love the vibe, the atmosphere in this game. It's very of its time, especially if you play the original. It's very like emo, edgy 2000s, which is really fun and interesting. That's one of my favorite things about it is just like, you got your character with his emo ass hair, he's slashed over with his headphones, and the whole, with your personas, you shoot yourself in the head to summon your persona. It's just very of its time in that way, which is super funny. So the persona mechanic, this is something Tyler's familiar with, but I know this is new to you, Zach. So how did you feel about the whole the persona system of collecting them, building them, kind of the customization? How did that vibe with you?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it because I felt like I was hoping I would want to collect more of them, but really I didn't feel any real push to collect them other than like this one looks cool. I'm going to use him for a little bit, and then like the way your character can have multiple personas. All the side characters have one. Your player character has several. I feel like I always just had enough things to get all the weaknesses, so I just kind of used ones that I thought looked cool. I didn't feel a need to like collect them all, so to speak, like a Pokemon thing. And maybe I missed out on some stuff because of that. But honestly, I just kind of liked using like Jack Frost because I thought he looked funny. And then I got the other Jack like personas, and those are my main ones I used to level up and stuff like that. But it was a cool system. I wish it pushed me more, gave me more incentive as someone who's ignorant to the series to like try to fuse different ones other than just getting different abilities on certain personas.
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of the that kind of is the push. You get to a boss, you get your ass whooped because you didn't realize you're weak to electric, and it's an electric enemy that's going to be hitting you with those kinds of moves, right? So the motivation is to kind of go back.
If I had one persona and I had to like make a really good one, but all I did was just switch to the one of the other 8 I had, and it like I didn't feel like I needed to like craft a perfect persona. I just had 8 that could solve whatever riddle was in front of me. That was kind of my biggest like downside with the battles. I didn't feel like I needed to make the perfect persona for
That's valid. What difficulty did you guys play on? I'm curious. What difficulty?
Put on normal.
Yeah, normal.
Did you ever feel like you were stuck at any point? Challenges needed to grind?
There's one specific moment I moved it to peaceful to save time, and I'll talk about that later.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But real quick, I want to chime in on the persona aspect thing. So I think my compendium by the time I ended was at like 60 or 70%, mainly because, the fusion struggle I was having for you listeners. So I was trying to fuse the one persona you need for a trophy, and this thing was, I had a wrong guide or something, even though it said it was reload, whatever.
So for those of you that don't know, you could fuse personas to make new personas. So just for some context.
Yeah. And so it was like, oh, so if you want this one, you need this one. But then I didn't have that one, so I need to go back and get another one. And then I need to go back and get another one. So I get like halfway through the chain, and then it would told me something totally different. I just did all that for nothing. And then it would get me really mad. And I was like, it seemed like it was with the DLC personas in the game, but I don't know. These two didn't have the same issue as I did, so I don't know. But I eventually got it.
I didn't knowingly play with the DLC, and for the most part, the fusion guide worked for me. So maybe it was a DLC wrench that was thrown in there. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I did have all the DLC, and I didn't have any issues. So
yeah, like for one of them, it was like saying like, oh, you would get this one, but then it was giving me like Zoro, like Morgana's persona, and I was like, why? Like, why am I getting this? But then I discovered if I then get that one would count as the other one. I don't know. It was weird. Eventually got it to work though. But I did think it was cool how like if you got certain fusion combinations, or not fusion combinations, but just certain into your compendium. Like I think one was Jack Frost, the dark one,
Black Frost,
whatever, Black Frost, and then you got King Frost. You got like a special like move ability for your Thurgy. So that was pretty cool. Just discovering those and stuff, but
yes, and those are exclusive to Reload as well. Those are not in the original.
Is it?
So
special attacks, right?
Yes and no. There were certain special attacks, but it wasn't the same as it is in this game. So,
but those I think that one was like King and I or something. It was called.
Yeah,
it was pretty neat.
No balls.
It was cool to like. Yeah, and it was cool to get those different ones since originally the original character it was just like healing. It was cool to get like a power one as well.
Hmm. So, what are you guys? Some of you guys' criticisms of the game, without getting into spoilers yet? At least, what are some things you didn't like or weren't as big of a fan of?
Well, I already mentioned the Persona. My thing with the Persona, I didn't feel the need to fuse, mix and match. Kind of a nitpick. My biggest like gameplay, foundational problem with the game was I do feel like it's a slow burn, which I can appreciate, but I feel like it's like a really slow burn.
Hmm.
It's like this, and then it's like the end of the game is just like insane. Like stuff's happening like
Yeah.
Every other day,
so I
yeah.
wish it was a little more spread out, but
Hmm.
overall, I mean, I still got the full story, so I can't hate on it. Just the last 20 hours were something.
Hmm. Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, kind of agree with Zach. The whole startup thing, like it kind of starts picking up in July when you do the like uh, summer trip or whatever. But then in October is when it really booms.
Hmm.
Take a little bit to get there, but I mean, it was fine. One thing, I don't know. I feel like it kind of grew on me over time, but at first was just constantly being Tartarus.
Hmm.
Because compared to me coming from Persona 5, everything had a different type of scenery. It was a different palace
Hmm.
per se. And in this one, it was just one big thing with all the different floors. Luckily, every few floors it changed, you know. And one near the top made me feel like I had an acid trip. But but other than that, I would say like the fusion thing, but it's kind of on me. Like the guide I was following just wasn't working out right, and that was
Hmm.
getting me frustrated. But other than that,
That's
I
about
have
it.
one more quick complaint.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna spoil the bosses specifically, but you
Hmm.
do fight bosses in this game at a regular interval.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like sometimes the I was expecting a big story moment, and sometimes it was just like, oh hey, there's a boss, let's fight it, and then like you beat the boss. It's like that was crazy. All right, let's go back to our day at
Moving on.
school for a month. Like some of them had like a big moment, and some of them were just like the boss is right there, and then you fight
Hmm.
it, and it just goes on, and it was like okay, like I could have been a little more fleshed out in that one, but um,
Yeah, that
couple of
is
them.
definitely one of the bigger problems with Persona 3 is just that the distribution of interesting plot points is not even for sure. There's probably like 5 to 6 months where almost nothing super of note happens. Like you get sprinkles of this, that, the other, a little bit of lore about C's, which is a group that everyone is part of at school for doing all this fighting and stuff. You get a little bit sprinkles of lore here and there, a little bit more about this character, a little bit more about that character. But things really don't start happening until October, like we've said before, and I think the game starts in March or April, so you really do have a big gap where it's like the plot's there, but you don't really know what's going on yet. So, and then it's like once October hits, it's just fucking batshit crazy all the way until the end. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but I think that, in my opinion, the build was worth it because I think that the story is cool and interesting enough to where the
oh yeah,
payoff is definitely there. So,
Like for me, I knew I was gonna finish it, so it's worth it. I just wonder, like, if I'm recommending it to somebody, like, hey, go
mhm.
play this game, it gets good after 40, 50 hours. Like, it's like one of those
Yeah,
things where like I don't want
but
to. It's hard to tell somebody that,
kind of, but I would argue that it doesn't take that long to get good. I think it takes that long
Yeah,
for the
that was a
story
bad
to
word.
pick up. But I think that the
Yeah,
game is still really good overall. Like I think
sure.
that all of the characters I think are interesting and fun. I think that the gameplay loop is fun. And if you kind of look at the game almost like in two halves, like the first half is kind of more like just like much more like choose your own adventure, like you just think about the day-to-day stuff like going to a part-time job or going to the dungeon or this, that, the other, and then the second half is where the story starts to pick up. It's almost like if you're watching an anime, right, and the first half is like more slice of life, and then the second half starts to pick up a lot. For anyone out there that likes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, part 4 is kind of like that. A lot of people can't stand that part because the first half feels like a slice of life, and then all of a sudden there's a crazy plot halfway through the show that carries it to the end of the season. And Persona 3 is kind of like that in a way, where it really starts to pick up in the second half, and it's definitely worth. I guess the best way to put it is putting up with the slower parts of it for the ramp up that's to come. Because it's like I would almost say it's still even easier to get into than Persona 5, which is like you don't really play the game for the first 7 or 8 hours. You pretty much just walk around and hear exposition before you ever actually do anything. So
yeah. Before you go after the great Kamoshida.
Yes, the great Kamoshida. So Persona 3, the music. Let's hear how you guys feel about the music in this game.
So, music really good. Shout out to Lotus Juice.
He's the man.
But also, so I played Persona 3 Dancing in the Moonlight, whichever one that I think it was called.
Yeah.
Right? So I played the dancing games. I played 4 and 5, the dancing. Funny enough, those were the Personas I didn't play. I never played the 5 dancing. I played Persona 5.
Also, but bad choice on your part, because 3 dancing kind of spoils 3.
A little bit. But I didn't remember too much of it. So, I mean...
So that works out, then.
But, yeah, playing that. And then my favorite song, Burn My Dread. And then...
Burn My Bread?
Yeah, Burn My Bread. And find out I gotta wait till the very end of the game to hear it. I was just like, man, when's this song gonna come out? I was like, it's gonna be. But yeah, man, this is one of those games where like I was playing it and then the music was so good, I'd like play it in my car. You know,
oh yeah,
soundtrack's so good.
I had every artist involved with this on my Spotify Wrapped for the year. So
there we go.
And so did my wife. I infected her with it too. She didn't even play the game. She just liked the soundtrack that much that she would listen to it on her own.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
I like the music. My favorite line, I can't remember the exact line, but the one where it's like, something, something, something while I'm chilling on my bed. I would just like sing that part like to myself a lot. I like the, specifically, so there's like different parts of the game, the school theme changes, and I like the second one of those a lot. Music's really good. I don't personally. I've been listening to Persona 5 music, even though I haven't played the game. I've listened to that music like on YouTube for years now.
It's so good.
I still like that soundtrack a little bit more. I think
jazzy.
I like the jazziness. I'm more of a jazz guy. This is more of like a hip hop, which I like it. It was good. It just wasn't like I still like 5 a little bit more, but I don't know the names of the songs. But my favorite song was at the very end. Maybe it's the one Tyler's talking about.
So good, dude.
Yeah,
I remember going for the platinum on Persona 3 Dancing. I had to like do that song like 90 times. Not really 90. It was more like 50. But
my favorite song is I do like the intro song. I believe it's called Full Moon Full Life, which is the one that plays during the intro cutscene.
Intro's fantastic. I love
so
it.
Good.
I just watch it sometimes.
Real quick, Craig. I'm sorry. The intro, I love how it changes with the more characters you get. In Reload, at least it does. If you go back and watch it, because like in the beginning, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but like you don't see some of the later characters you get in the intro. Like it's different scenes. But then as you get later on, when you get like, I don't know, would be saying later characters you get in your party a spoiler?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so like when you get like Koromaru and all them, like later on, they get scenes added into it.
Interesting. I actually didn't notice that.
Really?
That's true.
I feel like it showed up from the start. I know because I know with the start screen you can see all the character silhouettes.
Yeah, the silhouettes. Yeah.
Can you? I don't know. Because like it showed like full on things, like it shows like a shrine thing with Koromaru and stuff. I don't remember seeing that like in the beginning.
I thought that was from the start. But...
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
To look too.
But some games do that, and if it wasn't,
totally.
well, I appreciate that.
Either way, it's a great intro.
It's so good. And then I love Color Your Night, which is a song that plays when you're just walking around at nighttime in the game, which is so good. Got my boy Lotus Juice. By the way, Lotus Juice played this game and tweeted out his playthrough while he was doing it. And he did mention that he dated all of the girls. He said that he played a scumbag main character and cheated on everybody. So I thought that was funny. Tyler's also a scumbag who cheated on everybody. By the way, Tyler texted me and he's like, "Hey, is there any repercussions for dating everybody in this game?" And I was like, "Nope." And he was like, "Sweet."
Dude, I just wanted to see all the scenes. You know, you got to get the full extent.
True,
you know?
but you get different scenes if you don't date them as well. So the
social
media
is
so funny. The scenes where like it's like think hardly about this choice, and this character like opens up to you and they're like, "I love you," and you're like,
cool.
Like
you feel like something ass.
I would sit there and cringe while hitting the no button. Like, I'm like,
It's funny
So,
for me because every time I'd be like, "You're in a special relationship already," and I'm like, "I love you
too
too."
bad. I was gonna say, well, we know Tyler didn't have a girlfriend pick. Tyler, Zach, who did you pick, or did you cheat on everybody too?
I just went with Yukari just because I thought that was like the most canon one.
I
I
definitely
just
think
watched
it
the
is.
yeah, I
And
just watched the other ones on YouTube.
and
So
also, if you don't choose Yukari, she cries, and that would make me want to kill myself because I love that character. So I couldn't do that to
one of the
her.
last ones I said no to, I felt legitimately bad. Like I won't say who it was, but like they like really opened up to me, and they're like, I understand everything now. I'm like, sucks to suck.
I will say it's
Can't work.
funny. If it's funny saying no to Mitsuru because then the rest of her social link, she kind of like has jabs at you for rejecting her. The rest of her social link,
Yeah,
she's like, after breaking my heart and all that. After all, it's like fuck you.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
funny. But yes, the cast of characters. So why don't you guys say some of the characters you liked? Maybe if you were about some of them, did you have a favorite party member, favorite social link, anything like that?
Um, this is not even really a social link, but it's like a social link character is involved. I love just the Sunday shopping, the freaking Tanaka's
Oh
shopping, like
yes, Tanaka's
seeing
amazing
him,
commodities,
seeing him in that every week, and then eventually meeting him in the game, and he's just a
and
piece of
he's a
shit.
devil arcana, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
was
if you
good.
don't know, all the social links in Persona are represented by tarot cards, and Tanaka is the evil manipulative capitalist is represented by the devil, which is very funny
I,
to me.
that was another part I really liked was seeing a character what their arcana was, and then like seeing how long it took for me to get the obvious like that's why they're this thing, that arcana. That was always fun.
Yeah,
But
my favorite social link is one of my favorite social links in all of the Personas, so I'm gonna save it for the spoiler territory since I know we all talked about him. But I think that is even though I don't think any of them are really bad, maybe one or two of them I think. Overall, they changed a lot of the social links in this one as well, from the original Persona 3. So experiencing them was fun and interesting for me because a lot of the dialogue and situations and stuff were different. And I did use a guide for 100%ing this game. When I played original Persona 3, I did not use a guide, so I did miss out on a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that I probably haven't seen. But I just want to give a shout out to Akinari before we talk about his social link later. He is the son one, the sick man at the park. That is one of my favorite
Yeah, no, it's kind
in any of Persona. I love him. I love Yukari's because I just love her character. Yuko was amazing. The girl on the track team, and she's also her voice actor is just incredible. Something about her performance was so fun and engaging the whole time. I loved whoever did her voice. And then of course when you play the MMO, Innocent Sin Online, that's a really fun one.
of, my God, totes.
We
Such
will
a dick.
that is so fun because it's so representative of the time that this game came out with like all of the
Yep.
shortenings of words and emojis typed out and stuff. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say overall this game has the weakest group of social links between all the Personas, but that's just because as the series went on, I think that they learned how to make them better. One thing they added in Reload that wasn't in the original was a lot of these hangouts with the guys that do not have social links, like Junpei and Akihiko and all them. In the original Persona, they did not have social links. So it's like a majority of your party members, unless it was the girls, you didn't hang out with them. Now, they did change this in Persona 3 Portable, because in Persona 3 Portable, there's a female character option, which is something everyone wishes they added in Reload. They didn't do it. And she has social links with a lot of the male characters that you don't have links with in the original. So
Yeah.
there's that. And then, I guess gameplay-wise, in terms of like the actual combat and stuff, if you guys want to talk about some of how you felt about that, the actual battle systems and different things, it definitely varies a lot from the original Persona 3, so I'll touch on that if you guys want to talk about the reload aspect of it, you could go ahead.
Kind of like Zach mentioned before, I really like the whole where you get to exploit somebody's weakness, and then you can do like the whole baton pass type thing, and give it to another person, and then find their weakness, and then you can do the all-out attack, and then you kind of just keep that going as long as you have like a good, different set of like abilities and stuff. That was one thing I really enjoyed. And I mean, I don't know.
I think so. Another
Hang on.
another. I don't want to call it a
Lost my train
flaw
of thought.
because it's not a flaw. But one thing that did bother me was I enjoyed the weakness aspect so much, like the taking advantage of their weakness. But that inherently, like chain together weaknesses, inherently makes the game like if you figure it out, you can just chain together an infinite loop of like winning. So sometimes enemies just wouldn't have a weakness, which sometimes I just felt like it was a weird catch 2022 because like it would make the fight really long because I was like not I would have to get them with different ways and they wouldn't have a weakness. But we didn't make it like hard. Sometimes I feel like some enemies I was just taking a long time to kill them for no reason other than they didn't have a weakness, and it would be even easier if I did have a weakness. So sometimes I had to get creative with like debuffing and buffing, and that was a fun little change of pace. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe like it'd be more fun if all enemies had a weakness, but you had to hit them with a certain number of hits to down them. I don't know. I was trying to figure out how to balance it in a way that would be more consistent.
Almost like a stamina bar that goes down before they get weak, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's like if
Like a
if an enemy
stun.
has a
I
weakness,
guess a stun bar is the best way to put it. Like a game where it's like enemies have like stun bars and you hit it to 0 and then they miss a turn or whatever and they take more damage, kind of thing.
yeah, because sometimes like if you just have like the perfect setup, you can just loop the whole fight over and over again and like not get touched, which is very satisfying, but very easy. Then sometimes they don't have any weaknesses, and I'm just slowly whittling them down for a long time, which is equally, I don't know.
Another thing I liked in like when you get the shuffle time and you get all the different cards to pick from, and then if you got like the certain Arcana cards or whatever, you get the tarot cards, you get the Arcana burst, then everything gets upgraded, and then you can keep doing it. And then by the end of the game, you're gonna have to get like 12 of them in order to get the Arcana burst. You know?
Yeah, it was hard to get
But-
the burst at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Make
I'd
you
always look
earn
for the
it.
one where it's like pick an extra card. And I'm like that one. That's the one I
Yes.
want.
I think it's the star. The star Arcana was like pick 2 cards every time. Like yes, please.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, everybody, we're back after a short break.
Oh.
Zach is mid-snack. And so is Tyler, apparently. Tyler, what do you have?
Just Doritos, not
Just Doritos. Oh, a classic. Good choice. Isn't it weird how Doritos smell? Like, nothing smells like a nacho cheese Dorito. It's a very unique stank.
I hadn't thought about that.
Next time you smell a nacho cheese Dorito, think about how nothing else in the world smells like it. It's really weird.
Really, really quick, since you brought it up, I gotta say, I love spicy nacho Doritos, and they recently have come back with a new, even spicier packaging. And I just bought a bag, and I'm excited to try it.
Shout out to the cheddar and sour cream Flamin' Hot Ruffles. That is my go-to hot chip right now. Super delicious. I think of them as the LeBron James chip because for a long time LeBron James was on the bag. So
I'm partial to the barbecue Flamin' Hot, the Jason Tatum chip, if you will.
the Jason. All right, back to Persona 3. So some of the differences in the combat. So I know you guys are talking about the one more and the passing to different team members and different things like that. Didn't exist in Persona 3 original. So there was the additional turns when you hit weaknesses, but there was not passing between party members if you hit a weakness. Like, you couldn't hit one weakness for fire, then choose to go to Yukari to do a weakness for wind, stuff like that. That is something newer. That was introduced in Persona 5. And a lot of Persona 3, in terms of its gameplay and the way it moves and feels, comes from Persona 5. They translated a lot of the quality of life and things that people really liked in Persona 5 into Persona 3 in that way, which isn't a bad thing, but it definitely makes it feel like a very different game. But otherwise, you know, kind of the typical, we talked about it earlier, you can't control your party members in the PS2 versions of the game, which caused a lot of infuriation, especially when you do a lot of the harder stuff like the final boss and different things like that. But it also, in a way, I like it just because there isn't a lot of games that are like that, where it's a turn-based RPG and you can't control your party members. So it's like, just because it was unique for that, I kind of enjoyed it because it was almost a different way of playing the game. Like, you feel like you're doing a lot more self-strategy, like, and, you know, there's a lot more randomness to it, which is good and bad, but it kept it interesting. So I did kind of like that about it. But if I had to choose, I definitely would choose to be able to control my party members because the frustrating moments definitely outweigh the non-frustrating moments sometimes. I want to talk a little bit about the presentation of this game as well. You know, just the art style, the lighting, the menus. You know, Atlas has become very famous
Oh,
for their
dude.
menus and stuff. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about that?
The menus, it's like the best menu system. Like, there's Atlas games in general. 'Cause Persona 5 is the same way, and I heard Metaphor is, and I'm pretty sure Persona 4 is. Dude, they got some of the, like, nicest looking artistic menus. Like, just going through each menu, then the screen changes, and you have all this, like, cool artwork of all the characters and stuff. Great.
Yep. Can't say much more. Yeah, it makes something that should be boring not boring.
Yeah, it's interesting how Atlas is made menus an exciting thing to look through, and that's not something people usually think about. But like when people play an Atlas game, they get excited to pause and go to their items and different weird things like that because you know the way that it animates and transitions is just so cool and interesting and so strange in the best way possible.
Yep.
One thing that I do miss from the original Persona 3 that they changed in Reload is I do like it, but I don't like it as much. You know, when you're in battle and you have like that kind of blue silhouette with the moon around you with all of your selections of things that you can do. I did like in the original where you had a little like circle and it had all the circles of the things you could choose within it, and that's how you selected what you're gonna do in battle. But it kind of looked like the like barrel of a revolver, which I thought was kind of fun because it was more in theme with the using the gun thing. So I thought that that was really cool. And that's something I kind of wish that they would have integrated into the new selection screen, just because I felt like that was like, you know, it just added a lot of personality to the original game. And one big complaint about Persona 3 that a lot of people have, they feel like the soul of the game and the vibe is very, very different than the original. You know, in terms of like the lighting, the color palette, different things like that. And you know, totally a preference thing. I think I do prefer the original in terms of like its color palette and lighting. Everything does look a little bit more dreary and flat. And I think that that kind of fits the vibe of the game since it's, you know, it's not a happy game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's funny to say that because there was some moments where there's like a juxtaposition where like something sad would happen, and the next day it's like happy, bright, sunny day at school. It's like what is going on?
yeah, and it's still great, of course, but it does contrast a little bit, I think. But you know, I do think that the character models look great. Like we said, I think we all agree the voice acting is pretty fantastic as well. There's definitely some very good standout performances. And yeah, I don't know. Is there anything?
Human actor for Koromaru? Just
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys maybe want to talk about anything else about the game before we maybe slide into some more spoiler territory. Because I know we're all dying to say some of our thoughts on some of the more
Yeah.
spoilery aspects.
Yeah, I think I'm ready for spoilery
Yeah,
stuff.
so-
That's
All
where
right.
it's gonna get good.
So spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about October 3rd. That is the death of
one of those days.
the death of Shinjiro. I believe it's October 3rd or 4th.
Dude, I was so upset. Like, you know, I used to see all the memes like October memes of Persona 3, and I was like, yeah, you know, should be cool. And then when he like came into the play, I was like, oh, dude, I like this character. He's, you know, I'm gonna invest some stat points into him. So I invested a good amount of stat points into him, and then he just get shot. And I was like, no, he ain't gonna die. He'll be back. And then he got like his little funeral ceremony. I was like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So
Yeah, I love when a game actually
It's October
has,
4th. Damn it, I was off by a day. So it was
when
October
a game
4th.
actually has something happen and it's like a meaningful moment with the cast, and they don't just immediately retcon it. They actually let it be a meaningful moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's another character from another popular RPG, Final Fantasy game, where like when a character dies, it's like I don't want them to come back 2 hours later or even at the end of the game. Like it's a meaningful story moment that changes the characters and the way they view the world they're in, and it would feel lame to take that away. But no, in Persona 3, when Shinji dies, it's like a sad thing, and you deal with that for the rest of the game, and it's like a Sonata like has like his like big perception change moment where he gets his like upgraded persona and everything. So
and it was
you
kind
can
of
get
cool
way to it.
how like after the aspect you go back to his room and you can see like the paper like to where he was like actually like probably gonna think about coming back and all that, and how his mind was
cool,
kind of
yeah.
changing. And then
Yeah.
also kind of liked how like, you know, Junpei, he like wanted to stand up for him when the whole ceremony and the two people were like talking shit. They're like, oh, who is this guy anyway? And he's like, just shut up. Like, you know, you don't know what we're going through.
Mhm.
You know, it really
Yeah,
brings the emotion into it.
did it make you feel differently about Ken after that happened?
A little bit, yeah.
Ken's like 6, so I was like the whole time like this guy doesn't know how to handle any of this.
Hmm.
Like, I can't be mad at him. He's like a
Yeah.
6-year-old who
Yeah, and
blames
he's
this
like,
guy that his
after I
mom
kill you,
died.
I'm gonna kill myself, and you're like, Jesus Christ, child.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I can't be mad at the kid because it's like, he went through a bad moment. He pegged somebody as his enemy that, from how he understood it as a child, and um, that's a good part of his story too. Is like learning that he can move past it and that he has to live for these people and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering what Ken was there for. I'll be honest. Like, what is this child in the party for?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to be the payoff here?
Hmm.
So that was a neat twist.
Yeah, and at least a pretty impactful part of the game for sure. The first big impact in the game, I'd say, where you're like, whoa, like
Yeah,
shit's getting real.
that was the first big real moment. Yeah, October.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'd say before that, during the summertime when you're at like the little like the beach vacation home, you kind of start to get an idea of the scope of the dark hour and the different things happening. But yeah, October 4th is when things really start to kick off. And man, fuck all the guys in Strega. I will say they're some of the favorite parts of my game, as I actually think I think the Strega group is just kind of annoying and shitty in general. I do like
Yeah.
what's her name? Is it Chihiro?
Chidori.
Chidori, yes. Chidori. I do like
Chidori.
Chidori. And she's obviously kind of the one that has the most thought put into her because of her relationship with Junpei. And her death is pretty fucking tragic too. I was also very sad when she died. You feel so bad for your boy Junpei. He's been through a lot.
But
Yeah.
then she also
Yeah.
they did retcon her, and that one did kind of like bother me. Like
Mhm.
like at the end, she like isn't dead. I think.
No, she's still
Like, I don't
dead.
know.
She's still dead.
What do you mean?
Is
She comes
she?
back alive.
Is it just like a memory thing? Like a
Hmm. She's dead.
What do you mean? She comes back alive. Like she gets revived near the end of the game because you got her the flowers.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Oh my Craig! Craig, she comes back alive, man.
I did. So I was gonna say I missed one of Junpei's things because I didn't
That's
realize
why.
that I didn't realize you only had one day for it. So I didn't do that, which is funny. So I didn't know that she comes back.
Wow. Yeah, her body like not mummifies, but whatever word they use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
transmogrifies.
transmogrifies, and then the one day that if you gave her the flowers, Mitsuru will invite you into the student council room or whatever, and then you talk to her, and then she says that she's back alive, and then
That's
Junpei
funny.
comes, and then when Junpei comes, he's like, "What?" And then you guys go to the hospital, and she's there, but she lost her memory, like
Mm.
everything from prior, everything from after getting to her persona
Mhm.
is wiped. But then
I
like she
didn't
remembers,
love that.
Mhm.
yeah. So you remember certain things because like she looked
That's
at Junpei
funny.
and she's like, "Who are you?" And he was like, "What do you mean?"
He's
"Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm your
crazy. Frank missed
man's.
That was
Yeah.
something I didn't like because like that was like Junpei's big moment, like where he like had his breakthrough and like he couldn't. She saved him. He couldn't be the hero. Whatever. Blah blah. Blah. And then like 2 months later, she like randomly comes back alive. So maybe I think, and then she doesn't have a memory. And then it's just like kind of softened that like moment for me. I don't know. It was weird.
No, that's totally valid too. Because that's like how in Persona 3 you could actually save Shinjiro too. If you do the female story route, if you max out his social link before October 4th, he ends up being alive too. So
I think
Like,
one
does the
thing
same
with
thing
the
happen? He just lives, or what?
yeah, like he pulls through basically. Like he like later on in the game, I think it's like he like recovers kind of thing or something. I never actually got far enough in the female route to know that though, so couldn't say for sure. But I know that you can save him.
but like I feel like one reason well I don't know because but like with Chidori how like you like lost all the memories or she lost all the memories from after getting her persona. I kind of feel like that was all the
Oh,
main characters would have felt.
hold on, you cut out. Repeat yourself, please.
Okay, so I kind of feel like the whole part with Chidori on how where she like lost her memories from having her persona, it kind of relates to when you had to make the big decision for if you want to kill was it Ryoji or not, because if you would have killed him you would have been kind of the same aspect. I mean, I never went and watched the bad ending. I kind of wanted to. I still want to, but like, uh, that's kind of how you would have been. You wouldn't have had those memories, and it kind of like relates it to it. If you get what I'm saying, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
No, I know
Yeah.
what you
So
mean.
yeah.
Oh, were you
I
gonna
don't
say
know.
something,
I
Zach?
mean, no, I was just gonna like kind of tag along with it. You said the Strega thing in general. Like, yeah, I didn't. Chidori is a good character. You know, I liked what they did with her, at least until the confusing part where she came back. Um, but the other two guys, I did think were kind of just dumb. Like the main, what's his name? To who's the main bad guy? The long haired,
Um,
uh,
uh, starts with a T.
I couldn't tell you either,
the
honestly. I can't
shirtless
remember.
man with
I'm
a
blanking.
revolver who's shooting fools every 5 minutes.
Tatsuya,
Yeah.
Tatsuya.
Something like that. I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought he was just like a little like evil for the sake of being evil, and like they try to like
Mm-hmm.
redeem those characters at the end, like oh they were experimented on, so they're just trying to burn the whole thing down.
Mm-hmm.
But like they just kind of threw that in at like the very end, and then I don't know. I just didn't love those two
Yeah,
characters. I
like
was hoping for
No,
something bigger
I'm
to
not
happen
big
with
on
them.
them either. I feel like in terms of the driving plot characters, those two are like my least favorite. So
And then there's a scene in December, I think, where they like jump off a bridge and like they killed themselves. And then like the next month, it's like they didn't. They're alive. It's like what happened?
when they
fucking
jumped
got
off,
you.
when they jumped off of that, I was like, "There's no way they ain't dead."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but like it was just very odd.
and they
Those
were
two
just like,
characters,
"Oh
no.
man, they're gone." Well, let's go back to the dorm.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. I didn't love those two characters, but
nah. How did you feel about Ryoji once he got introduced?
I was
Man,
confused at first who this guy was gonna be.
dude, I had a feeling right when I heard like the voice, and I was like, "Oh, that's my boy Pharaohs." You know, I was like, "That's kind
Your
of the same
boy.
thing." Yeah, well, yeah, kind of my boy, I guess. Well, hey,
The
he was
boy.
carried. He was carried inside of me. So, but like once that whole like plot point found like when it really like got thing like, oh, I was inside of you, and the whole thing was because of Aegis and all that stuff. That's when it got kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Kind of.
I liked it. I liked how fucking off the wall that whole kind of idea is of him being part of him and yada
All
yada.
the girls, one of them. Oh man,
Mhm.
I was a little confused. Like so, Ryoji um did what he actually is just make up a person, or is he always that person? I didn't really understand like the embodiment of that human. Was that a
he's the one that would have been like best male actor, not best male human actor.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Mhm.
right. But like,
Yeah.
was that human form of him just something that was made up in that moment, or like, or is he always that human that's been like living for a long time? I didn't really understand that.
No, like he didn't he like the Nick's avatar kind of is always him, so it's like that human form of him didn't like always exist. It's a little, like anime weird
Yeah.
bullshit.
And he had like a backstory, but like then he like, oh, I can't remember everything, and also I'm a transfer student, and like no one wonders when I leave, and I teleport. Apparently, I don't know. It's like kind of confusing, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
like
I
especially
like the
that one
Ryoji
part,
character.
the one part where it was like him on the piano, and then Fuka walks in, and you're just like, oh, where'd he go?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I how did you feel when he was like you could kill me? Like, did you guys think it was the obvious choice what you were supposed to do?
Um, I don't know. I guess the way I was thinking of it, I was trying to think, like, put myself in their shoes.
Hmm.
And if I've gone through this whole journey and this random dude's like, I'm death and you're gonna lose and you should just accept it. My
Hmm.
first step would be like, hey fella, I'm not gonna just believe you and just give up right here. Like, yeah, you definitely can't beat me at the end. You definitely can't kill the last boss. It's like I'm not gonna just. You're right. I can't be the last boss, so I'm just gonna give up. But
I do love the build up though to when you do finally fight the Nyx avatar, because it really is like a feeling of dread. Like everyone's like, we're gonna do our best, but I don't fucking know, man. Like,
I don't exactly. I don't know what's gonna
like
happen.
this is
up there.
literally death incarnate. What we got, guys? But
Um,
I like him. I think he's a cool, interesting character. I loved all the stuff they added for him in Reload, with his little like kind of like social events. I think his voice actor was really really good as well. Like I said, they're all good, but I like the I feel like they do a really good job of integrating him into the story for how late he comes in as well.
Yeah, he felt like a
his
main
character
of
just
the
works
cast.
really well, yeah.
He felt like a cast member, even though he was there like for
A month.
5% of
Yeah.
the game. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's something we didn't really talk about either, is this game is very long too.
yeah.
How many hours did you guys take?
It's hard to say. Mine said 72 hours, but I also had a
Mm-hmm.
bad habit of like putting the controller down, so I don't actually know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's
At
crazy.
least
Mine was like
65 hours like that, but
mine said like 72 as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think on average this is probably about a 60 to 70 hour game for most people, and it's definitely the shortest of the Persona games. So, of the not all of them, but like of the 3, 4, and 5, the ones that most people have played.
yeah.
But it's worth every minute.
One thing I didn't like, I still don't know if I fully understand. So, the company that Mitsuru's family runs, the Kirijo Corp,
Yeah.
they're experimenting on shadows, or to make, I guess, just like for the pure reason of like what gaining power, I guess, is the motivation, or what's their goal necessarily? Is it like a power hungry thing, or are they just trying to? Because then I was a little confused. Like, you're destroying the shadows, but like secretly the bad guy wants you to destroy the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I was just like kind of like lost in that like process. Like, were the shadows, was I supposed to kill them every month? Was I not supposed to kill them every month? Was it all a trick? I couldn't really ever tell.
It was all a trick kind of thing because it was all powering up for Nyx.
So like
Yeah.
killing the shadows did what exactly for Nyx? Is what my confusion was. Like brought
I think
them.
I think it's what brought it back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like killing the shadows brought Nyx back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once you get all through the, I can't remember. It's like all the moon phase bosses when Ryoji shows up.
Yeah.
Like, you think that you won is over because you got rid of them all, and then Ryoji shows up, and that's because you killed all the full moon shadows.
Yeah, because there's a moment where like, so there's the other big moment where your dorm director guy, what's his name, the
Shuji Ikutsuki.
I knew that guy was going to be involved in a plot and be a bad guy from the beginning. I was like, this
exactly, he was too.
I was like,
he was
that's
too
the
just
guy.
like sitting there.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
Like,
understand necessarily. He like was gonna sacrifice us or something. Like I did, that whole part was freaking me out. Like I didn't know.
Are you getting fucking crucified?
Yeah, like we got.
I thought that was so
crucified.
bonkers, especially the first time I played it on the PS2 version. I was like, this is pretty wild for 2006.
So if you'd have done that, what happened? Like if he crucified us, would that have summoned Nyx right then and there? Like I don't really know what that was about.
I would probably say yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know for sure. My memory's not 100%. I guess I could have done a little bit more studying up before this, but I know he was gonna have, I guess, gun you all down. So
Yeah,
I think it was more of like just a trying to stop you kind of thing, because I'm not sure if he knew about bringing back Nyx with taking out the full moon bosses, but I believe Strega knew that was what was gonna happen. So if I'm remembering right.
because then I got lost in his motivations because like, okay, so I'm supposed to, if I kill all the full moon bosses, that's what Nyx ultimately wants because it makes Nyx come back.
Mm-hmm.
But then Strega's like, don't destroy these because we like the Dark Hour, so we think this is bad. And then the guy who betrayed you also didn't want you to kill them because he was going to bring back. I was just like confused what his motivation was, what he thought he was doing in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yes, I apologize. I'm showing my fake fandom here for not knowing for sure.
No, I mean I don't think it's anything wrong. I think it was like just meant to kind of be like a red herring and like like be confusing and like
Yeah.
be the twist. But it's like I was in hindsight, I was looking back like who knew what when, and was I supposed to pick up on that, or was it supposed to just be a twist? Like I don't know.
I think it was just supposed to be a twist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I would love to talk about the final boss and the ending. How did you guys feel facing off against Nyx? Did you feel prepared? Did you think it was hard, easy?
I thought it was surprisingly difficult for how prepared I was. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, yeah.
it's definitely a test of endurance for sure, more than anything. because of how
Oh yeah.
how many phases it is and just how long it is.
When you started going through all the cards, I was like, man, this is gonna be. You know,
You're
here
I was
I
like,
am
glad
to
it
finish.
stopped at. I was glad it stopped at 13 or whatever. It didn't
Yeah.
do like all 20 or
And,
whatever.
and when I was beating this, mind you, at the luscious hours on a work night, because I was like, I gotta finish this. I was like, dude, this is going on for a long time.
hmm
Yeah, that boss song was the one I liked a lot. I don't know if that what song that is, but
Oh,
that
so
next
cool.
boss fight
I think it's
song is
called the
really
Battle
cool.
for Everyone's Souls, where it's the Velvet Room theme over like the rock. It's so cool. It's so
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
it was so good. Um, so when I said I was really prepared, I had the Messiah persona
hmm
for that fight, which like I don't know if it's always like this, but whatever version I got through the fusing I did, it had no weaknesses. Like
Oh
physical
yeah.
attacks could not hurt it. Light and dark, I reflected back, and all the other elements were just like regular resistances. And then I also had like a like gain health every turn, gain FP every turn, and heal everybody in one turn.
Yeah.
Magical healing spell. It's
I
like
think it's the
I was
same way for
pretty
every time you fuse them. I think it just
yeah, I
is
was
like
pretty much unkillable, and I thought Nyx was still like a good challenge then. So I can't imagine not fighting with Messiah, and also my teammates not doing what I tell them to do.
Yeah, I was gonna
I thought
say,
that was,
imagine playing this on the PS2 where you can't control your party members.
no, no, I cannot imagine that because all I had was I had Yukari with her like heal everyone spell,
hmm
and by the end of the game, her like healing spells take like 4 FP. So her turn every time was just heal everybody and would just like loop around, do that. And if that didn't happen consistently, it would have been a much tougher.
Yeah, my strategy was pretty much every turn just beef up Mitsuru and beef up Ikis and have them do their strongest attacks and then have Yukari heal. That was pretty much my loop for the entire fight. Because I
Were
did
those
the
your characters?
yeah, that
I
was
had
I
that
was
the
about to
was
say,
same
what are
thing.
your guys'
yeah, that was my
characters?
three was Aegis, Mitsuru, and Yukari. For pretty much as soon as I
Same.
had them all, I kept it that way for the most part. And it's like, I actually felt like it was probably the most balanced team overall in terms of like being able to cover most things. Because then for the other elements, you have the main character. So
Yep.
and Diamond Dust is fucking killer if you beef up Mitsuru
Diamond
with a
Dust
bunch of buffs.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And also,
So
what's her like theurgy that she gets at the end? Like
mhm.
it's like severe or like something even massive almighty damage to
Yeah,
someone. You just
Mhm.
it's
destroy something.
fucking nuts.
Yeah. I was really leaning on the theurgies at the end. I had the fortune reading where you was getting those faster.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
that's
was
right.
basically just like somebody always had max theurgy. Basically, I was always hitting somebody with. And I would do the thing where it's like one like I think Yukari's is like double everyone's next magic attack or more than double everyone's next magic attack, and then I would just use a theurgy or a diamond dust with that, and you do so much damage.
hmm
Um, yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, for my team, I used pretty much same. Just I didn't use Aegis. I used my boy Koromaru because
mm,
Hmm.
I was like, I gotta use him. He's a dog, and I
he's
love
the
it.
boy.
So.
I do love Koromaru as well, but I guess I just love too much as a character to not have her in my party as well.
She was the one I felt
The
bad
game
about.
makes her. She's so lovable by the end of it. You can't help but
Yeah.
love. I guess she's so great.
She was the one I felt bad about saying no to because she's like, I understand what it means to be a human and I love you, and you're like, nah.
You're like fist bump.
Nah, fam.
But yeah, the Nyx Avatar fight is long and arduous. It's way longer and way more difficult on the PS2, not being able to select your party members' attacks.
And did
I
you
don't
have
know.
your teammate like heal him? Didn't you say before?
Yeah, so I had that happen to me before when I was playing the PS2 version. Was they used Marin Karen on Yukari, and Yukari full healed him when I was like an hour and a half into the boss, and I just turned off my PS3. I was like, I'm not doing this today. Because it's
that's
like
awful.
because it's much longer, much harder on the PS2. Literally, it's like a 2-hour boss fight. The PS2 version is insane. It is so long. Even this version, I think, is still probably about 45 minutes. Even if you're blasted through it, it's still super
Yep.
long. But the PS2 version way longer. And yeah, that I remember just being so upset. I was like, I don't even know if I want to beat this game anymore. I was like, this is the most bullshit fucking random ass. I can't control anything. You have no control. And it just happens, and you're just really upset. It was terrible. It was terrible. I was so angry. I will say the fight is I do appreciate the fight a lot more in the PS2 version just because it's really cool. How atmospheric it is, how much longer it is. It feels like it feels more like the battle that all the dialogue and stories leading up to in the game, where they're like, oh, this is going to be really hard. We probably can't do this, but we have to try. And it's like when you do the PS2 version, it really feels more like an uphill battle the entire time for sure. So I still like it in Persona 3 Reload, but I think the PS2 version feels like much more of what was being built up to in terms of what the fight actually ends up being. And then, of course, we have the ending of the game, which is one of my favorite endings, maybe my favorite ending in a game ever. I think that it is like very tearjerkery, very beautiful. I actually did cry. I thought it was fantastic. I cried the first time I played the original version. I cried when I played Reload version. What do you guys think of it? Maybe I'm dramatic, but I love it so much.
I thought it. Okay, so you skip forward in time after the last boss fight. For some
Yes.
context, you skip forward a month or whatever. So like I guess the gimmick is like no one remembers what they did. Members of the Dark Hour stuff. I guess
No,
because
they
you got rid of it.
Mhm.
But like they're kind of like having flashes of like trying to remember it, and that's kind of getting weaved in because you have you can like basically go talk to all your social links at the end.
Yeah.
And like wrap those up. I was a little confused at first because I didn't understand they were doing the whole like they're trying to remember thing, and I was like why don't I know Sonata? Like he lives with me, and they're like, oh yeah, Sonata, that guy that is graduating. I'm like, what do you mean that guy that's graduating? And that kind of threw me off for a little bit. Then I started to understand what they were doing with it. I thought it was neat. I don't fully understand the very ending, why it happened.
Like why you die.
Yeah, I didn't fully get that.
Mhm.
But it was a
Because you
sad
looked into
moment.
the eyes of God and found the meaning of life, and you no longer have a reason to be here.
Is that what it was? Like,
I think so. That's how I interpret it, at least. Is that you saw and found the meaning of life, you saved the world, and your time is done.
Like,
Yeah.
if that's the case, why did I go another month and a half? And like, I don't know, like. I guess
Because you guys all said right before the fight that you're gonna
Yeah,
meet
you
up
said
on
you said that
graduation
you'd meet
day.
up on that day in that location at that time. So I think
once
it
I
was
fulfilled
waiting.
that, I was good to die,
Mhm.
I guess, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
But then I guess remembered because she's not a human. So.
yeah, and I love the Igus speech as well. I think that is really beautiful, actually. I think that
Yeah.
is a little bit better in the PS2 version. They actually changed it, and I was upset about some of the changes that they made. Because specifically in the PS2 version, she says, "I finally understand what it means to live," and I thought that was like a really beautiful line, and they took it out in a Reload, and that made me kind of upset. But
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess the follow-on to the game is the answer, and that's just is that a direct follow-on to you dying, and then it just follows, I guess, dealing
Yep.
with that, or what is?
yeah, it happens like right after. So
I
Mhm.
gotta play that. At some
Me
point.
too. I still haven't finished it actually, so I need to go back to that for sure. But yeah, Tyler, how'd you feel about the ending?
I mean, it definitely threw me for a loop at first because I was like, "Wait, you really just die?" But then, like, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense because, like, the whole game, it's kind of like the conception is like death and like the meaning of death, and there comes a time, don't be scared about it, stuff like that. Like, it's just natural, the way of life, I guess. Because you got like Yukari, she dealt with death with her dad, and you got like Mitsuru, same thing, and vice versa, and Ken's mom. But then once like all the people like started realizing there was like, oh no, I remember now. I remember like, ceremony, and they just start in, and you're just there, and then you're just like, you know, slowly drifting away. Then you're like, your soul comes out of your body. I think with the butterfly kind of conception thing.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. It was kind of like at first I was like, yeah, I don't know about him dying, but I was like, it all makes sense. Like
Yeah.
kind of like you said, like you found the meaning in life.
Yeah, and I
Did
mean
your
the whole
purpose.
game is themed around the idea of that, like of death. So it's the
Yeah.
biggest theme of the game. So
Is that kind of like what happened, Craig? You said your favorite social link is the sun social link. At the end of that, is that kind of what happens there? Like he because you just kind of poofs. Like I was a little confused about by the
I
end
think
of that.
I think the implication is that he's a ghost and he's already gone.
Okay,
Hmm.
so the whole time you were talking to a ghost kind of thing.
I think so.
Okay,
That's how I interpret it, at least.
yeah, I was very confused. I was like, what was that? Why did he just poof into a butterfly?
And that is my favorite. I think that social link is beautiful and very depressing and sad, but very well done. The character's very... And one thing that really gets me is they mentioned the story he wrote about the pink alligator in Persona 4. Like, there's a little girl in Persona 4 that talks about, can you read me this book? And you wouldn't know that otherwise, so I always thought that was, like, a really good nod and callback for people that have played that game and did that social link. So I think about that all the time. I love that social link.
Yeah, that was good. I guess I was just confused until I didn't realize, like, maybe a ghost makes me recontextualize it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What was your guys' favorite social links?
I was pulling from my boy Mamoru, the star one, because he was just kind of like down on his luck and having to like try to like go with like, do I chase my dreams or like support my family? Mm-hmm. And he was like dealing with that for the whole time. And he's like a really nice guy and staying positive on both sides of it. And then it ended up working out for him at the end. He got a job and all that stuff. That was neat.
You didn't like all of Fuka's shitty cooking?
That was funny. Yeah.
Try this rice ball or whatever. And he's like,
yeah,
it's so funny.
Can't take it. I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like Akinari, that thing was like really touching and stuff. But I also liked what's her name? The girl that you would find at the shrine.
Oh, the little girl.
Like, yeah, I felt like that was kind of touching with like having her parents, being like, she doesn't like comfortable home kind of a thing. But then the parents grew to understand that they're kind of like hurting their kid.
Yeah.
They kind of grew away to thing. And then she also, like, that part was kind of touching, too.
Do you like how mean you could be in that social link where you're just like, your parents don't love you? It's like an option at some point. It's so fucked up.
Maybe they don't love you.
I'm like, that should not be an option. That's mean.
I thought the end of that one was funny, too. Like, you talk to the dad, and he's, like, still dealing with, like, her, I guess, getting, like, the mom getting custody or whatever. And then he, like, realizes, like, hey, this is that teenage boy my 5-year-old daughter wants to marry. And he like gets mad at you. Like,
it's really funny.
Yeah.
I also love Mitsuru's social link. I think is very good when she's like, I've never had a burger before. This peasant food, basically.
I eat it with my hands.
She's like, what are you fucking like heathens doing?
Why are you eating with your hands? And then, as we mentioned before, the MMO girl.
Oh yeah, the teacher.
Yeah,
that's a great one. I think it's so funny.
I was wondering that was finally gonna like pay off.
So I think it's
very end.
That's one thing that I love way more in the original version as well, is there's no silhouette when you talk to her in the original. So it's like you kind of just start to understand who you're talking to more as the social link goes on, opposed to in this one where the silhouette looks like a digitized version of her with her hair. In the original, you're just talking to this person, and eventually you're like, oh, they're a teacher. Oh, they're talking about me. And it's like way funnier in the original.
It does pay off at the very end when you go talk to everybody and like she realizes that she's talking to you and she like freaks out and then she's funny. Like, maybe we get dinner. It's like, whoa, you were just
like, hold on
about this.
Woo, call Chris Hansen.
Yeah, you were just worried about this. Now you're like, maybe we can make it work. Like, it's like, okay,
it's terrible. And I also just think it's really fun that it's Innocent Sin Online, which is the subtitle for the second Persona game. So it's fun that they had a little.
Is it?
Reference to that, yeah. So I think it's fun that they call it that.
Interesting.
Did you guys have any favorite personas that you used? I know you mentioned Jack Frost. Was there did you have any other go-tos before Messiah or whatever?
I used Black Frost once I got Black Frost.
Mm-hmm. I love Black Frost.
With the Frost family. I was King Frost for a while, and I became Black Frost. Yeah, I just like that character design. I think he looks cool.
Yeah, I like the Frost as well.
I kind of just had like a big array. I was kind of always switching it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I really have a go-to. In Persona games, once you get late game in like 4 and 5, it's like Yoshitsune is the way to go and stuff. But with 3, I kind of just go with whatever I'm vibing with. But I'll always have a soft spot for the Frosts. But who doesn't? They're the best. They're iconic. Right? Exactly. Got it. Ready? Hee-ho.
I did like the little like lore, like I call it real world lore for all the personas, like the historical backgrounds of like all the different things. That was fun to read those.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then like the Frost was like, what are they gonna say for this? And they just made up stuff. That was funny. But...
And I will say, Junpei, what a bro! I just love that character. Junpei is such a good character. His voice acting is amazing. The ace detective, as they like to call him. I was so happy that they kept the line more like stupe ace defective. I thought that they were going to change that because it's such a dumb line and they kept it. So I was really happy that they kept it.
The one thing I liked with Junpei is when you were able to go up to the command room and you were able to bonus little like recordings or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was one where Mitsuru had the cop in his room, like somebody like ransacked his room and stuff. And then he was like, "No, I'm just kind of messy. Like nobody came
That's how
through
I
here.
live.
That's how I live, man." She's like, "How can anybody live like this?" And it's my room.
So funny.
We're fine, officer.
So funny. He's the goat for sure. So I love this game. I don't know about you guys. Tyler, this or Persona 5? Now that we've talked about it more, which one hit home for you more?
The one that hit me home more was definitely this one, with the theme being like death and all that stuff. I mean, like that really hit me. Persona 5 was just kind of cool because they had like a bunch of like kind of like surprises and stuff. Like especially the one that the game was like. But because of the story and theme, I think this like story.
Uh-oh, you're cutting out again.
Oh man. This one I said I think because of the story wise and stuff, I think this one would be on top.
I know.
So
Zach,
now I gotta play 4.
I was gonna say, do you have interest in playing some of the other ones now, Zach? Like 4 and 5?
100%. 100%. I was I brought up a lot of my negatives in this conversation, but I still did really, really enjoy the game. I just think some of the criticisms worth bringing up. But I definitely will be playing. I'm playing Metaphor like this weekend, and
cool.
that's kind of like a Persona, I assume.
It's
I
very
want to get to
similar,
5 one day, and I want to get to 4 one day. I definitely am like when 6 comes out, it'll be a day one kind of thing for me. I'm definitely sold on the series.
Yeah, and I think it's great. It's a great game, obviously, but I think it still is a PS2 game at its heart. It's like they didn't change. They changed a lot. They changed a ton, but it's still structured the same way that the original one as well. So it still has, I mean, Tartarus is Tartarus, and even that's enough for some people to not like Persona 3. So
yeah,
I don't mind Tartarus though, honestly. I mean, I think that the gameplay loop of like you guys were talking about, the game is best enjoyed in big chunks. Like you're like, oh, I have an afternoon to play for like 3 or 4 hours, and you do a little bit of the social, a little bit of the dungeon crawling. It's a really good mix and balance. But yeah, if you play in short spurts, it definitely is a little bit harder to get into because of the amount of time you might be doing one opposed to the other. Because sometimes you're like, all right, like I cleared the dungeon as far as I can go. It's been a while. I'm tired of hanging out with my friends. I want to continue the dungeon. Like I haven't played my JRPG in a while.
Yeah.
Which
Zach,
I totally understand that.
But you too, Craig. Did you do the optional fight at the end where you could fight Elizabeth?
No, I did not.
No, I didn't either. I was gonna ask how it was.
I think I got locked out of it. So I had the same problem with you, Tyler, with the whole inviting her to your room thing. So I had to load an old save. I think maybe you have to do that to get that last quest because it's a request. It's like request 101, and even though I'd done like I had unlocked the ability for her to go to my room because I did like 85 quests, that quest never popped up for me. And my guess is, I don't know for sure, my guess is you have to go to her, she has to go to your room, and then you have to get to that point, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then, I don't know about Reload, but in the original, that fight with her was locked to New Game Plus, so...
Oh, so maybe it's that too, yeah, I don't know.
And it's famously known as, like, the most difficult boss in, like, Atlas history, which is really funny. Like, your whole New Game Plus is essentially building a persona to be able to not die to her, which is awesome, so...
Damn.
It's like if you look up like people online, people like have figured out like the mathematical formula to beating her. Basically, like it's that specific because of how difficult she is. So it's dumb.
So Craig, I'm just gonna ask you. So if you chose to kill Ryoji, what happens?
I think the game ends there. I'm pretty sure it's just like is like a cutoff and then like bad ending kind of thing, kind of like in Persona 5 without spoilers. You get some choices where you could just cut the game off super early. It's like that. And Persona 4 has a moment like that as well. That's kind of a thing in the series where it's like there's certain plot points where it's like if you make the wrong choice, it's just like, oh, well, you ended the game early. The credits will roll, but you didn't really beat it because you made the bad choice.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Persona 4, I think, is the most difficult to know what to pick without fucking up. So whenever you guys get to Persona 4 Golden, I would definitely make sure you find like a spoiler-free guide that's like, what dialogue options don't lock me out the last half of this game?
Last half?
Nah, not half. Probably
Oh.
closer to like a fourth or a third, but it's quite a lot.
I was like, damn.
And I've been soaking on it as we come up to this episode because I always say I love Persona 3 and 4 and I love 5, but 3 and 4 more than 5. And I think I've finally decided that I still like 4 more, even though I've said otherwise. I do think that 4 will still always be up there for me. I love the themes and the characters in a lot of Persona 3, but there's just something about 4 that's just so special and different. And I'm sure it's going to get remade at some point, but it doesn't need it. I think 4 Golden is a perfectly fine video game, and if you guys are going to play another Persona, it's like, don't even wait for a 4 remake. Just play 4 Golden, and you'll be perfectly satisfied. It's so,
you guys heard it
so
here.
damn
Persona
good.
4 episode in a year.
Oh God.
Persona 4 is because I remember before 3 Reload came out, I was like, I'm just gonna play through 4 again, fuck it, because I hadn't played it since I beat it I believe in 2015 or 2016, and I played through it all right before Persona 3 Reload. Like, I beat it like I think a couple of days before Reload came out, so it's like I played those games back to back, and Persona 4 Golden holds up so well. I still don't have the platinum in Persona 4 Golden though, which makes me very upset because it just takes so long to do, and it's also the hardest in terms of like.
You gotta do like 2 full playthroughs or something.
Yes, and even though I had beaten the game once already, my Vita memory card with that save file corrupted at some point, so I didn't have my New Game Plus save anymore. So it's like I'm gonna have to beat it the third time to get the platinum, unfortunately. But yeah, Persona 3, very special game. I love it very much. I was gonna say 2 more things that I didn't bring up. I like that when you get to the final month of the game, the lighting in the dorm room changes and looks a lot more dark and dreary. I thought that was interesting because so many people complained about the game when it came out, specifically about the lighting of the dorm, and then when you get to that part of the game, the dorm's lighting looks similar to the PS2 version. So I was like, oh, so it was intentional. That's kind of interesting. And
Yeah,
I also
that's
like.
bad.
I like the progression of Aigis' character, how she starts to talk more human the longer she's around. Like, by the end of the game, she doesn't sound like a robot really anymore. And I thought that was a really cool touch. I thought that was a fun choice that they made, because that's not really the case in the original as well. So, in terms of, like, voice acting direction, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
So, yeah, special game. Where does it land on you? Because I know you played a lot of games this year, Zach. Where does it land in your favorite games from this year? Is it higher on the list, lower on the list?
I had it pulled up. I think it's what I try to do, because I had a bad habit a couple of years ago. I would always like the most recent game's the best game, that kind of thing. So I put games I just finished in like the simmering tank. I have an Excel sheet. I put
fair.
the games I just finished in the simmering, and I like come back to it in like a week.
That's fine. I like that.
But it's like on the edge of my top 5 for the year for sure.
What about you, Tyler?
Considering I never really like put my games in a list, but with this one, like, are we talking about like for this year or like overall?
Yeah, I guess overall, I mean, if it resonated with you that much, because I know Persona 5 was one of your all-time favorite games, so that would mean if you like
5
this
would have
more...
been in 10, so if this one's more, it would probably be in like top 10. When did I gotta sit down and like make a full list? Because that'd be pretty fun to do. I never did that. It is fun.
At one point, I had a list of like my 100 favorite games, and I was like, I can't decide between
crazy.
96 and 97, so I just deleted it.
No, I really, one day I really want to make a top 100 list and like keep it going like forever.
It's hard,
right now I
yeah,
have a top 10, and the top 100 is like intimidating, but I do want to do that one day. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, my top 10 has changed a lot over the last couple of years, just the more stuff I play, but my top 5 has been pretty solid for like the last, like, I'd say like 5 or 6 years. I don't think my top 5 has changed. So, but after that, as I play more games I've missed out on, I'm just like, I didn't know about this. Like Final Fantasy VI is a big one for me, and different ones like that. So, yeah, Persona, great stuff. My game of the year still personally, Persona 3 Reload. Metaphor is second, but
awards though. Just saying.
I know, I can't believe it didn't get nominated for nothing, not even best soundtrack. That's criminal.
Victim to Metaphor, 100%.
I know we talked about that.
That game played Metaphor, then voted for Metaphor.
Also, real
'Cause
quick, I gotta say this is about metaphor, but
mhm,
like I just learned that the battle theme is just like a monk shouting, and I
mhm.
love it.
Hey yo,
Like,
yo, yo, yo. It's so good.
yeah, I was like, oh,
It's really good. And I like that everyone's calling him Lotus Elixir instead of Lotus Juice. I think that's really funny. It's a good joke. All right, boys. Any other closing thoughts on Persona 3? Any last words before we
well,
wrap this one up?
well,
Or is there
I was just
anything we
gonna,
didn't talk about you wanted to talk about?
well, I was gonna say we got one right in. I don't know if you're missing that.
You're right. See? I'm
So
tired.
I have it up if you want me to read it real quick.
Yeah, you can read it. Go for it.
All right, so our write-in, Jason, he said, "Hello guys, Jason here. I remember when they announced Persona 3 was first announced and seeing how different it was from other RPGs at the time. Even though it was the third in the series, the first two didn't get a lot of attention. Flew under the radar here. The concept of social... What are you doing? The
I just,
concept of social
just
links
reading.
between characters was unique at the time, at least here in the US. I also remember when I first saw pictures of play, I was surprised that it was being released in the US at all, considering the depiction of gun violence within it, since gun violence is more of an issue here in the States than in Japan. When the characters putting guns to their heads to call upon their persona, well, they're not
You're
much.
cutting out. Cutting out
Oh
again.
man, where are we at? Okay. When the characters putting guns to their heads to call upon their persona, well, there's not much I could say about the game that I'm sure you guys haven't said, so I just wanted to say a few things that I thought was unique about it. Zach, you're fucking me up here.
Zach is editing the doc.
Not much I can say about the game that I'm sure you guys haven't said already. So I just wanted to say a few things that I thought was unique about it. And in recent release of the Persona 3 Reload remake being released, maybe someone from the Persona team can give Square Enix a call and give them some tips on how to do a proper remake.
Roasted.
Yeah.
Did you like make it really small so I wouldn't be able to read it? Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
And then
Okay,
I
'cause
increased
I was
it.
looking at it and I was like, what is that?
I made it like 0 font, but Craig fixed it. What
We
a
have to
terrible
respect-
podcast.
We have to respect Jason and his opinions, no matter how much you may disagree.
I remember like when my buddy Matt, like speaking about Jason was saying like with the gun violence and stuff, like when my buddy Matt, he's the one who kind of like got me into starting Persona, like, and he was like, yeah, like you know how like 5 is the mass and then 3 they just shoot themselves. I was like, what?
Yep.
I was like, they just shoot themselves? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, you're pretty much just like Persona, bang, and he was like, yeah, it's essentially how it is. And I was like, no
That was
way.
a pretty hype moment the first time you do it. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
am I
The
gonna
evoker.
shoot myself in the head? And then,
Yeah, you're like, you know what? It's either I'm dying or something's happening. Oh shit!
Another
look at
criticism I will say is there's a lot more 2D animated cutscenes in the original opposed to Reload, and
That's
some of
like-
them are a lot cooler and more interesting. Like the first time you summon your Persona, that's a 2D animated cutscene in the original, and they changed it to the 3D models in 3 Reload. And it's not that they're bad, but they definitely don't look as full of life as the 2D cutscenes do. So
yeah.
Yeah, whenever I had a cutscene, it was always a good time. 'Cause I was like, oh,
it's the good stuff. But yeah, it's still my game of the year. Shout out to Persona 3. Very special. One of the first 80 people in the world to get the platinum trophy. Never forget. I'm a fucking champion.
Madman.
I literally did not play another video game for 2 weeks after I beat it. I was like, I've done so much gaming that I don't want to do anything for a while. I stayed up late every night. On the weekends, I was up to like 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, I was just like determined because I wanted to be one of the first 100 people to get the platinum. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. So,
Oh man,
and I did it,
luscious
but
hours.
luscious hours, because I'm usually not that kind of guy. Usually, if I have the option, I'm in bed by like 7 p.m. I'm an old fucking man. I love
I
sleeping.
can vouch. When we were all at
Yeah,
Zach's house, and Craig was like, "I'm
That's
going
crazy
to bed."
too, because you're also fighting with the people who have the game pre-release. Like,
True.
Who have like literal weeks ahead of you. Like,
And I'm sure that it helped too that I played, base Persona 3, so for I didn't have to learn a lot of, just like how the game works and the way to prioritize different things. I just kind of knew what to do. So, but I definitely want to get to the Answer DLC by the end of the year. I'd like to play the Answer on PS2 eventually too, just because I did not. I definitely want to play through Portable eventually still, or finish my playthrough with the female protagonist, just because I think that'd be cool. Persona 3 Portable is much more of a visual novel style game because when you're in the overworld, you aren't walking around, you're just pointing and clicking. You only walk around in the dungeon, which is kind of interesting.
Oh,
So
interesting.
different way to experience the game. And I would like to mention, I pulled up a little list too that I forgot about that has some differences from vanilla Persona 3 to Persona 3 FES on the PS2. Because I didn't really know a lot of the differences, because, no one really has ever played. Not many people played. I'll get to it. I know one person that played vanilla Persona 3. But most people played FES, the re-release that came out a year later. So some of the differences was, obviously, they added the answer in FES. That wasn't in the original. I just didn't have a social link in the original Persona 3, which is crazy to think about since she's such a central character to the game. The Elizabeth dates didn't exist in vanilla Persona 3, which I think is some of the most fun scenes in Persona. So it's weird to think that those weren't there. Obviously, more Personas and stuff were added. Let's see. And that's about it for the most part in terms of the major changes, but kind of interesting. So
Yeah,
I'd
the
point
Ika
that
stuff
out.
is really interesting, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I guess it's such a central character to Persona 3. She's almost as much of a main character as the main character, right? So,
Yeah.
the fact that she didn't have any social links in the original, kind of wild to me. But I was going to say, the one person that I knew who played Persona 3 original, not even FES, the vanilla version, I always think this is funny, is my late best friend, Mr. Chase Cassette. He passed away a few years ago. But he would have been 11, I would have been 12 at the time because that's how old we were when the game came out. And he spent the night at my house, and he used to always just bring over a bunch of games that he either wanted to play with me or just playing in general. And one of those games was Persona 3. I remember that morning, he woke up before me and he was playing it, and I saw him in school, and I was like, "What are you playing?" He was like, "Dude, Persona is so good." And I was like, "That looks fucking boring." And I never thought about it again for about a decade until I played Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. So I was introduced to peak gaming that long ago, and I didn't
even know it.
I didn't even know it, and I'm just like, it's so funny because I think about Chase because I'm like, he was so ahead of the curve. Like, he was a weeb before the term weeb even existed, playing Persona 3 at release. I'm like, that's kind of crazy to think about. So it's just kind of funny that I had exposure to this series that means so much to me, and it's one of my all-time favorites, and some of my favorite games ever. I knew about this shit when I was 12 years old, and I just didn't care at the time. It's like I was very foolish of me. So shout out to Chase, rest in peace. You had good taste, you fucking dork. So cheers to him.
I ain't got
But
nothing,
I think that's about all we have to say about Persona 3. Unless you guys have any more closing thoughts, I think we pretty much went over everything.
yeah, I think pretty much hit everything.
Great game. I probably should have mentioned this before we went to spoiler territory. Next episode is going to be about winter games, or winter levels in games. So if you want to talk about some of your favorite winter levels in video games, please be sure to write in any of those games that make you feel all cozy and nice during the winter. It's my favorite time of year, so I'm excited to talk about that with you guys. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Tyler's OnlyFans and Patreon. He definitely needs the financial support to buy all these really shitty PS1 racing games that he has.
Yes. Going for the Land Before Time subset, so I need all the money I can get.
The subset, beautiful. And I guess it's about time to say goodbye. Zach, goodbye to you.
Goodbye to you, Craig. This is fun. Persona 3 is a great game. I'm glad I finally got around to beating it.
Tyler, goodbye to you.
Yeah, goodbye to me. Just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that this was a great episode. I love doing it, and ready to talk to you about my doing it. You know he dropped a song.
Yes, he did. He dropped a Christmas song, and it's really good.
Been looping.
It has some crazy bars. He's putting Kendrick to shame. He should be scared.
But yeah, had a great time with this episode. It was a fun one. It's always great to talk to these guys, especially since, we talk a little bit outside the show, but it's good to have a good sit-down conversation with them.
Yeah, it's a good excuse for us to actually hang out for a while every couple of weeks. So
Please sub to my OnlyFans. I'm burning a 50% off sale right now.
All right, boys. So everyone, please subscribe, comment, like, all that jazz. Share it with your friend, your coworker, your grandma. I'm sure they'd all enjoy it. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Take a shower.
Adios.
Take a shower. Take care.
Bath game.